Good morning from a beautiful sunny Donington Park, where we are in for a very busy Caterham race day. We've nearly got race one about to start very shortly. The cars will be lining up behind me here, which is the Caterham 7 UK cars. But we've got our safety car here right in front of us, which is a Caterham 360R. So this is quite a quick Caterham. They handle very nicely. This is just going to take the cars down to turn one. Then this will pull off at the red gate corner. So the cars are about to join us on the grid. We've got 8 races this morning, then we've got lunch break, and then 7 more races this afternoon. But stay with us at lunchtime, because we'll be showing what's going on in the paddock today. So we'll just wait for these guys to line up on the grid, and hopefully I shall go and have a few interviews with some of them. Very pleased with Jake Swan finishing 4th yesterday. He was very happy with that. So he starts 4th today. But what can these guys do with the championship? Obviously Aaron Head is not in the running for the championship, but he spiced it up, getting in between the guys at the front. So we've got Stephen Lyle and Lewis Thompson fighting for that championship. I wonder who is going to be crowned that champion today. So let's see, let's dive in, have a quick word with Stephen. Good morning, Stephen. How are you feeling for today's race?
Yeah, feeling good. A bit early for this though.
It is very early, isn't it?
Yeah, well, my alarm went off at 7 in the morning and I was just saying to Lewis, I thought, can I just count it as a drop score? But no, once you're on the grid it's all good.
Yeah, get focused and you'll be in that zone and hopefully coming out the end with the position you want.
As long as we can keep on pulling some points. I mean, it's unlikely we'll win the championship, but I'd love it to go to Silverstone. That's always been the aim for the last few rounds, to take the championship to the last round for the touring car event, but take it as it comes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, wish you all the best. Yeah, so like Stephen said, these guys have got one more round, which will be in 3 weeks' time at Silverstone, which will be on the touring car package. So they will be racing with big crowds, and that will be on ITV. So you won't see me there, but that will be a great one to watch. So yeah, hopefully the championship will come down to that round, but it can still be won by Lewis today. So we'll see how they do. Let's have a quick word with Lewis. Lewis, quick word. How are you feeling about today's race?
Yeah, very confident. We had those troubles yesterday, but I'm pretty sure we fixed those now and we're back up the front, so looking good, feel good. Yeah, should be good.
Excellent. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And then we'll move on down. I just want to speak I was going to speak to Ben Collins, actually. He's further up here. Sorry, not Ben Collins, Ben Simmons. He had a great race yesterday and great for his AM driver. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Are you all right?
Yes, good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Hopefully got a little bit more experience than yesterday now, so we hopefully go forward today.
Yeah, well, you're doing great. Your pace is brilliant. You know, you've joined this second half of the season. You're doing great.
Yeah, these guys have got some serious experience, and I've got a lot to learn, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's good to be in the mix.
It is, yeah, excellent. Well, we'll look forward to seeing what you can do today.
Thank you.
And let's have a quick word with Matt Dyer. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Thanks, really well.
So how are you enjoying the season this year?
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down, to be honest with you. A few accidents and a bit of damage, but yeah, race 1 yesterday was a lot of fun. So looking forward to this one.
How many years have you been racing Caterhams now?
Since 2012, I think I started. I had a few years off, but yeah, back and enjoying it again.
It's addictive, though, isn't it? You can't leave for too long.
Yeah, it really is, and got to get back in it now.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, good luck for the race.
Thank you. Cheers.
And Angus, let's have a quick word with Angus if he doesn't mind. I'm just going to dive in here if he doesn't. Sorry to interrupt, guys. Right. Just a quick word, Angus. How was yesterday's race for you?
Not great. I've had a gremlin in the braking system, so I've had no confidence on the brakes. And with this crowd, if you brake 2 meters early, you get mugged. So I really struggled. We have almost an entirely new brake system on the car overnight, so hopefully today I can do better.
We'll see. Thank you. Good luck. I think we might have to move off the grid in a moment. Oh no, everyone's still on here, so maybe we'll just quickly walk down, have another quick word with some of these guys. Let's have a quick word from Oliver Smith. Oliver, how are you feeling for today's race?
I'm good. It's a little early to be honest, but I'm ready, I think. Good position, sort of halfway up here, so as long as I can keep a good start, I think, try and hold the position, should be fun.
Excellent. Well done. Good luck. And let's have a word with James Taylor. Hello, James.
Hello.
How are you getting on this weekend? How are you enjoying it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Just really happy to be here. I'm very lucky because I'm here as a guest, writer for Evo magazine. So kind of here for one weekend only, and it's just fantastic fun. Intense, but really good fun.
And it was great to see you last night. I was alongside you last night, wasn't I, on the parade? You were in the Evo, which is a 420, isn't it?
That's right. It's a kind of special Evo edition because obviously 50 years of Caterham this year and also 25 years of Evo. So to celebrate the double birthday, it's a special spec that Caterham have put together for the magazine.
was great to be part of that parade last night, wasn't it? Just to see that many Caterhams on this grid was just, yeah, I felt quite honoured to be part of it.
Yeah, me too. It's quite mind-blowing. 7 times 400 something. And yeah, I mean, it's probably the most fun I've had driving at 10 miles an hour, because we did that lap in tandem, as you say, and it was really good fun. Yeah,
that's it. I know we going around the circuit. Obviously, you want to go quickly. You get the chance to do that, but even just driving around at 40 miles an hour, it was just delightful, and with the beautiful weather as well that we had last night.
Yeah, it's a proper dream sunset, and it kind of shows how Caterhams can be really fun. Driving slowly as well as quickly. It can be a kind of Sunday evening car to go for a drive, or it can be a mentor track car like this one. It's great, the bandwidth.
Exactly, you get the best of both worlds, don't you? Well, I'll leave you to get focused, but wish you all the best. Enjoy. Right, we'll just have that's Tom Eden here. Just have a quick word with Tom. Tom, I'm still getting used to you being in a blue car.
I know, it's strange,
I'm used to the yellow.
No, I know, yeah, we just fancied a change, but it's been yellow for so long, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you keep it the same next year? If you do it next year, keep it the same all year long, so we know it's you.
We will next year, yeah. It's going to stay blue now, so yeah.
Oh, it's a very lovely blue, actually.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, Santorini blue apparently, but yeah, no, really pleased with it. It looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Just rather a little further forward, but...
Yeah, it's not your usual starting place, is it?
It was a scrappy day yesterday, to be honest. It was all a bit leery, and we sort of went off a couple of times, got involved in incidents, but hopefully can be a bit cleaner today. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, fingers crossed. Wish you all the best of luck. Right, I think everyone's off the grid. We need to move off now, so we'll hand back to Chris and Dave in the commentary box, and we shall see you after the race.
Well, thanks very much, Sam. Good morning from the commentary box, race fans, and welcome once again to Donington Park on this beautiful late summer morning here in the North Midlands for the second day of this very special weekend here on BARC TV as we celebrate the 50th birthday of Caterham Cars. Yes, it really was 50 years ago that Graham Nairn took over the production of Colin Chapman's famous brainchild, the Lotus 7, found in Caterham Cars down in the town of Caterham in Surrey, and the design has been in production in various evolutions ever since. We have got a whole host of different Caterham classes. It's 100% Caterham racing all day today here at Donington Park, kicking off with the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK. That's followed by the CSCC Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, a whole variety of different 7 types, not just Caterhams in that series, organised by the Classic Sports Car Club. Good to have them here this weekend. We've got the Mossel Caterham 7 310R Championship. The championship battle all but concluded there. We'll see that finally confirmed, hopefully, in that first race of the day. We've also got the Caterham Graduates, the Morph My Caterham Graduates Championship in their 2 divisions, the Sigma 150 and Sigmax classes racing together, the Sigma 135s as well. We also have the Mission Motorsport Caterham 7 270R Championship, very close indeed, their championship this year. And we've also got the novice racers in the Caterham Academy, sponsored by Adrian Flux Insurance, and the Vertex Caterham Road Sport Championship as well, taking us through until lunchtime. But it's the quickest cars of all, organised by the factory-supported Caterham series, the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK. Up first, Chris Hutchinson alongside me. We are in for something very special here today.
It's a fantastic day's event. Let's confirm the grid order before we get into exactly what's going to happen today then.
Yes, this grid based on the results of the first race held yesterday, and it's Aaron Head, the reigning champion, number 1 on pole position as the cars move off for their green flag lap. Stephen Lyle, number 43, alongside him. Championship leader Lewis Thompson, number 79 on row 2, alongside 66 of Jake Swan. Row 3, 24 Paul Donkin, the amateur class points leader, alongside 77 Gordon Sawyer. 4th row, number 8 Chris Fraser, and 64 Dale Head, brother of Aaron, completing the top 10, number 14 Ben Simmons, and 21 making his debut at this level in the UK Championship in the 420R, Harry Landy, number 21. Row 6 is number 9 Matt Dyer, alongside 61 Angus McLean. Then on row 7, 22 Gary Curtis starts alongside the number 4 of Ollie Smith, competing in a couple of our championships this weekend. 11 Carl Jones, who had a trip through the gravel at the Old Hairpin in yesterday's race, starts alongside number 7 James Taylor, the motoring journalist for Evo magazine. Row 9, Mike Evans, 93, Tom Eden in 99. They both failed to finish yesterday's race, as did Gary Lapidus, not Guy Lapidus. He was a late entry, so a slight misprint on our graphics there. Apologies there to Gary in the number 16. And Finlay Cooper, good to see him back out. He had an accident at the chicane, went into the barriers, brought out the red flag early on in race 1 yesterday, but the car is repaired, and the son of long-time Caterham racer Chris Cooper starts from the back of the field.
Yep, you can see the drivers all weaving to get their tyres, or their Avon slick tyres, warmed up. Their Avon tyres sponsor this championship, and thanks ever so much to all of their efforts over the course of the last several decades. But yeah, all the drivers ready to go. You could hear that some of them weren't particularly happy with being up this early. They're not used to it. They normally get a sort of later time slot, but they have got another race. This is the final, look, 2 more races today, so this one and one further along through the day this afternoon about 4 o'clock, so they'll have a little bit of time just to get themselves in the running order. But yeah, great racing yesterday, and it's still, whilst they've still got a round to go at Silverstone on 23rd of September, we can still, Lewis Thompson can still wrap it up this weekend. So he needs a win and a second or third place, depending on where Stephen Lyle goes, and he can still wrap the championship up this weekend. He'll be trying to do that, and we'll be following on to see whether he can. But Lyle will obviously be working to stop that. And Aaron Head, our current reigning champion, is on that pole position. He'll be acting interference as well. But they're all coming to the grid then for the start of today's action, which is going to be monumental. So much action to bring you all throughout the course of today, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either. We're ready for 20 minutes of Caterham racing then from the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 UK Championship, race 2 of 3 this weekend. Aaron Head, the reigning champion, not contesting the full season this year, so he's not a factor for the championship. He's on pole, the black car with the sort of bright pink roll cage, alongside the red, white and black car of Stephen Lyle, looking to close the gap on Lewis Thompson in the championship. He's in the British Racing green car on row 2. Jake Swan alongside him in the white car with the blue roll cage. The red lights come on then. 20 minutes of Caterham racing coming your way to kick off the day at Donington. Away we go. Great starts by Aaron Head from pole position. Going alongside him is Stephen Lyle down towards the right-hander at Redgate corner. Lewis Thompson having a look on the inside, almost 3 wide into Redgate for the first time. Paul Donkin tucked in there as well, the red and white car on the inside, number 24, as they make their way round for the first time. Finlay Cooper's already making up places from the back of the grid, 3 wide as they go down the famous Craner curves, and Lewis Thompson's got the inside and he's taken the lead, third to first down the Craner curves. They go round the right-hander now into the old hairpin. Everybody round the first few corners okay by the look of things. There's Gary Curtis, number 22. Gary Lapidus was an early casualty, pulled off at the end of the green flag lap, and there's a spinner. Now, who's that?
That might have been Harry Landy. It looked like Harry Landy's car.
Yes.
Not exactly sure, but side by side for the lead again. It looked like he'd be able to get back in, but not sure why he went out there. I'm guessing there's a bit of dew on the grass, and as soon as you get slick tyres on grass, you will never, well, you won't get adhesion anymore. But Head leads it again as you've got Thompson right on his tail, pulling out then for a sight that we will see all today, side by side, 3 wide maybe even down here as they come into the chicane. The outside line wasn't working yesterday, and again Lewis Thompson makes the inside line work, and it is Stephen Lyle slots into that third place. Donkin behind him, Swan and Sawyer also reigniting their battle for third place in the championship.
Aaron Head jinks to the outside. He's forced wide by Lewis Thompson. They go wheel to wheel into Redgate corner. Lewis Thompson holds the lead. It's Stephen Lyle third and Paul Donkin going with them in the number 24. The first 4 breaking away very slightly down the Craner curves for a second time, and it's Lewis Thompson under fire from Aaron Head up the inside of the Craner curves. He goes through. Seen a few overtakes at the Craners so far this weekend. Pretty brave to go for an overtake through there. Jake Swan side by side with Gordon Sawyer. They were battling away for 4th place in yesterday's race. That's the battle for 5th place this time around, up through Schwantz curve. This is where Aaron Head took the lead a lap ago on towards the right-hander at McLean's corner. It's Lewis Thompson who has just about held his lead there. Then it's a climb up towards the double apex right-hander at Coppice, on the trickiest corners on this Donington Park National Circuit. And Angus McLean in the pits in number 61. Problems for him.
We heard that he was having to change his brakes, didn't we, ahead of the race on the interviews on the grid, so maybe there's still something there working the gremlins out of the system. He'll be trying to get that sorted so he can be out for the race a little later on. We're side by side going into the chicane once more, and Lyle does hold on from Donkin, but Donkin's actually pushing forward, isn't he, in this race? He really looks like he wants our leading Pro-Am driver, or Am driver, and he's looking like he wants to get involved in this actual podium. But Head alongside Thompson around the outside, but Head's going to persist a little bit, but it's the sweep and the extra momentum around the outside work today. Again, absolutely still outside, not a breath of wind flying around. So here's the Harry Landy incident. You can see that 3 cars just got together and it just pushed Harry out onto the grass. Absolutely nowhere else for him to go. I think it might have been Chris Fraser alongside him when that happened, and maybe that's where Angus McLean also
was involved
got
in that.
maybe he also got some contact, and that's why he's come in to get that all checked out as the rest of the field come through. But Harry Landy, a little bit of space over there, so hopefully he didn't meet that barrier as we go to live pictures and they're coming up through that piece of the track, and I can't see the yellow flag, so I think he must have rejoined.
Yes, and Angus McLean's rejoined as well. He's come back out of the pits. So Aaron Head leads the way. Lewis Thompson on his tail into Coppice for the third time. Aaron Head has got the fastest lap, 1:13.147. So a couple of seconds off the pace they were setting yesterday. Obviously, slightly cooler conditions on this summer morning here at Donington. Lewis Thompson up the inside to the chicane, does it again, retakes the lead from the reigning champion Aaron Head. Out of the chicane down the straight, the first four now being reeled in slightly by Gordon Sawyer, who's got ahead of Jake Swan. Seventh behind them is Dale Head. He picked up a little bit of damage in yesterday's race. Brother of Aaron, he's up there in seventh. And then the battle for P8 is headed by Ben Simmons with number 8 of Chris Fraser trying to get around the outside. The turquoise liveried car there. Number 9 of Matt Dyer tucked in behind ahead of Mike Evans, a retirement for him yesterday. There go the leaders down towards the old hairpin once again. Aaron Head has got the lead back again. Stephen Lyle under pressure from Paul Donkin, a regular winner in the Caterham online sim racing series this year, where Christian Saruta it was who took the title. Here comes Aaron Head again. They're side by side on the run out of Schwantz Curve, up the hill into McLean's. It's Lewis Thompson who holds the lead.
Aaron Head was very close to going onto the grass there. Yeah, Mike Evans just recently got married and was on his honeymoon and got stuck out with all the plane issues that we've had, and just about managed to get back here. But yesterday's race didn't go to plan, did it? He had an issue in qualifying as well, so they did manage to get the car out but didn't finish. We are side by side once more. You can see by going side by side into this Roberts chicane just how much of a block it acts for the cars behind, so it can be a really good defensive manoeuvre for the lead drivers to stop anyone from fighting back from third place. But as we saw yesterday, as the race progresses, people are more than willing to put that 3 or even 4 wide. You can see Donkin and Lyle fighting away there on the inside of the track. It's obviously not the racing line, but as long as you can protect your inside line around this Donington Park circuit, you can really act defensively and slow the rest of the pack down.
Still side by side there for 8th, Ben Simmons and Chris Fraser, with Evans and Dyer behind them, and Finlay Cooper as well in the number 5. You notice a couple of rather non-standard or discoloured parts on his car after that shunt yesterday. He went off at the chicane into the recticel barriers, brought out the red flag, which meant we had a slightly shortened restart, but Finn's fine, and so is the car. Good repair effort by him, and he's gained 8 places from the back of the grid.
Yeah, we said yesterday, they put cars back together again from miracles, and well done to the team for putting that car back together and getting them out there on track and fully involved in this battle. Clearly everything is pointing in the right direction, but we are closing in. Sawyer's got past Swan again and has joined the rear of this pack. Swan is struggling there a little bit to keep up, but now it's Sawyer versus Donkin. We saw that through quite a lot of the race, and Sawyer just lost out a little bit in the tail end of the race. I think it was the last corner. Side by side, Lyle does dive down 3 wide into the Roberts chicane and takes overhead and Thompson as they went into the Roberts chicane that time, but her Head calmly just pulls out and will go back ahead as they pull into Redgate. He's got the momentum around the outside. Lyle's going to protect that inside. Thompson's going to try and make it 3 wide, and there it goes, Head around that outside and will carry that momentum. I imagine he's going to take that through the Craner curves, but you never know. But Swan is probably going to be able to catch up because they are stopping each other from going fast at the front, and therefore Swan should be able to get himself back involved as it's still side by side through the Craner curves, and Thompson protecting the inside there again. An unusual position, but it's worked out really nicely for him.
It may be early in the morning for these drivers. They've certainly had their morning coffee, haven't they? This is a fantastic race for the front of the field between the championship contenders Thompson and Lyle. Paul Donkin third in the points, but it's between those top 2 for the championship with 4 races to go this season, with 5 races to go this season, including this one. Here comes Paul Donkin now, and Gordon Sawyer in the yellow car as well. Jake Swan trying to make it 6 for the lead. Dale Head's not far away either in the number 64. Just catch a glimpse of him there in the background. What's going to happen into the chicane this time? Aaron Head will get the inside line away from Lewis Thompson. He'll go up the inside to retake the lead. There's a bit of debris there on the inside. Somebody's lost a wing. I'd imagine that's further back in the pack. We've had a bit of contact there because I haven't seen any contact between this leading group. Now here they go down the Wheatcross straight. Lewis Thompson is going to try and go round the outside, as Aaron Head did to him and Stephen Lyle a lap ago. Lyle tucked in behind them in 3rd place. No, Thompson goes for the cutback coming out towards Hollywood and then dropping down the Craner curves once again. There's Dale Head in 7th. They're well ahead of the rest, who are busy squabbling for 8th position. Looks like it's Mike Evans who's got through into P8 there alongside Ben Simmons. It's a 6-car train for the lead through the old hairpin.
Yeah, I know Thompson was really not happy he ended up in 3rd place. He's been so used to winning this year as he jinks outside goes up the inside of Schwartz as they head up into McLean's, and he was really unhappy yesterday. He made some changes and he's clearly finding the speed in that car, but he was fully involved in the battle yesterday, and Head still looks relatively under control at this point, still just over halfway, under half distance, so there's still plenty of time left in this first of 2 races for them today. 20 minutes each. Every Caterham piece of action we've got from the official championships is 20 minutes. Head and Thompson go side by side. The inside lines work. Lyle's going to see whether he can take the round the outside. Thompson backs away from it and says, okay, I'll be happy in 3rd place just for now, but later in the race I think we'll see him persist with that a little bit more.
They start to do the shake, rattle and roll down the straight, then trying to break the toe. Look at them weaving about as they come through there. They're down towards Redgate. This is the battle for 8th position. Further back, we've got Chris Fraser in there, Ben Simmons, Mike Evans has been shuffled back a couple of spots, Matt Dyer is next, then it's Cooper and Ollie Smith in the number 4. Charging up the inside there goes, I think that was Evans getting ahead of Ben Simmons. The leaders meanwhile are down at the old hairpin. I don't know which order they're going to be in. Here they are. It's Aaron Head who's gone back to the front ahead of Lyle and Thompson. So the same order that they were in at the start finish line. Donkin and Sawyer trying to close up, and then Jake Swan trying to hang on to the back of them.
Does look like Dale Hale's going to join this battle by the end as well. We've seen some real good speed from Dale throughout the course of the year, and it's good to see him back up here fighting to get back to that lead group, just dripping onto the greenery there. Got to be careful not to do that and trip the sensors that are here at Donington Park, which then do an automatic track limits. Didn't see too much of that as an issue yesterday. We saw a couple of drivers getting 5-second penalties, but heads them as it's Lyle in 2nd place. Thompson looking to see whether there's anything on the inside, but Lyle absolutely said, no way, Jose, I'm not letting you down the inside. Does let Aaron Head have the nice swoop. He's going to have a little bit of a gap as he goes across the line this time. Lyle having to get his car under control over the big bumps on the inside of the chicane, and now Thompson going to the outside, see if he can do anything, and then the weaving again continues. Donkin seeing if he can get involved on the outside of Redgate. He's got a good head of speed. He might be able to go around the outside of Thompson, but Thompson's going to hold on him and push him out to the edge of the track. Lyle's going to make his way back through as well, as then behind Swan and Sawyer also getting involved.
This is going to be very interesting into the old hairpin. They could go 3 wide here because Paul Donkin's now back in the clutches of Sawyer and Swan after they both ran wide through the exit of Redgate there. Thompson still holding off Stephen Lyle in that 2nd place. Gordon Sawyer, the number 77 car, 4th in the points coming into this round, has had I think just the 1 podium this year at Portimao in Portugal, so aiming for podium number 2 here. It's Aaron Head who leads the way. He had a couple of wins out in Portugal and one at Snetterton as well. We've only seen him make 4 appearances in the championship so far this year. He leads down towards the chicane down the exhibition straights once again. Trying to make a move to the outside is Stephen Lyle. Lewis Thompson moves to the outside now. He's going to try and get through under braking for the chicane. Is he going to make it around the outside? No, he's not. Can't quite get the overlap. He'll go for the outside on the exit again. No, you don't, says Aaron Head. Here comes Stephen Lyle. Now, was that a mistake by Thompson to move across there coming out of the chicane? Because Lyle's going to try and go around the outside. Paul Donkin to the inside. Dodging across to try and defend from all of them is Aaron Head, and somehow he's held it. Donkin through into 3rd place though.
Yeah, that was a bit unusual there from Thompson. He had the line into the chicane but just didn't seem to get the left hand hooked up, and maybe it's just a compromise by the position of Aaron's car, and that's cost him a couple of places. Donkin saying thank you very much, I'll have that place, and puts his red machine there but straight down the inside. We've seen that before from Thompson. He's immediately back on it, but Donkin's got a lot of speed, just nowhere to use it. You can see how the cars in the slipstream do get a bit compressed as they go up this hill. Aaron Head is ever so close to that grass every single time he comes up towards the camera in this position, but he currently heads it. Lyle now in that 2nd place. Thompson back into that 3rd place, but Donkin's not going to let him have it easy. Swan's back ahead of Sawyer.
Well, they'll complete in a completely different order, I'm sure, as they come out of the Robert chicane this time through. Here they come then onto the exhibition straight, and Aaron Head will start to defend right from the moment they exit the corner. Stephen Lyle going for the outside. We haven't seen this work so far. It's not going to work again because, again, Aaron Head is later on the brakes. So just under 8 minutes of this race still to go for the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 UK Championship. The weave starts again down the Wheatcroft straight. They've dropped Gordon Sawyer very slightly by a car's length or so as Lyle goes to the inside, and Aaron Head's not going to get back across in time to defend for him. Lyle takes the lead into Redgate. Thompson goes for the undercut on both of them going down the Craner curves. You won't get 3 wide through there, surely. Here comes Jake Swan around the outside. He's going for Paul Donkin for P4. Is Lewis Thompson going to go for the inside here? Well, Head's got the lead back again, and Thompson goes drilling to second place. By the time he finished talking about one move, it's all changed again.
And look at this battle here, Swan and Sawyer, and getting through past Dale Head, sort of catching up still in the background there, but Donkin really had just got shuffled back there. Remember, he's in the AM Championship, so he's not really fighting the guys around him. His next battle is with Simmons, but he's a fair way back through the field, so he's got a little bit more to lose than these guys. He's firmly in the lead of that AM Championship, and he certainly won't want to lose out in his red machinery. As we come down here, Aaron Head's managed to hold on for a little bit out front. Lyle jinking around, seeing what he can do. The outside line over the course of this weekend so far hasn't worked, but can Thompson go against that? No, still Aaron Head is absolutely devastatingly late on the brakes into that corner. Thompson has got nowhere to go, but he's happy to sit in that second place just for now, with Lyle in that third. But the outside line just hasn't worked this whole weekend.
They start switching their lines again as they come down the straight then. Here's the battle further back. Ben Simmons at the head of this fight for, well, P9 it is now, because it was Matt Dyer who'd got away at the head of them, but he's dropped back in behind Ben Simmons there at the chicane. There's Dyer side by side with Mike Evans. Behind them, Chris Fraser and James Taylor, the man from Evo magazine, going around the outside. I remember Roger Green, who worked for Evo for many years, was a successful Caterham racer, and as we heard, Evo magazine celebrating its own 25th birthday this year, founded by the great Harry Metcalf. You may have seen him on YouTube as Harry's Garage over the years with his car collection. It is Aaron Head who still leads here ahead of Thompson, Lyle, Swan, and now Sawyer up to fifth. Donkin down to P6.
Yeah, Donkin, like I say, lost out in that sequence, but he's still firmly in the battle. We've got just over 5 minutes, or 5 to 6 minutes left to go, so still a lot of opportunity to make moves. We're going to start that three-wide battle then. Aaron Head's made this inside line work for him every single time, and he makes it work again. He's also crossing the line first as well, so it's no opportunity for people once that chicanes happen. There's not really a chance to get by the time we get to the line, especially because we haven't got a headwind this time. You can see that it was pulled out to alongside, but it was Head that crossed that line first. It's going to be important for our last lap battles. This is Thompson down the inside. Is he going to persist with this? He is, and he's got a little bit of an overlap as the Heads. In fact, he shoves Aaron a little bit wide there onto the curb, and Lyle's going to say, I'm going to put my wheels down the inside so you cannot come back in line. Aaron Head holds on round the outside, and the outside of Hollywood is getting grippier, isn't it? But we've seen Thompson make this move 3 times already, so he's done it again down the inside and he managed to block the momentum of the car. You can see he just pulls across to the right hand side, stops the momentum of Aaron as he comes up the hill.
Well, the way these six are throwing it at each other, they're so close, more like a MotoGP race that's in front at the moment. This is brilliant stuff. Aaron Head back up the inside, retakes the lead into McLean's corner, side by side between Thompson and Lyle. Lyle's got the inside run towards Coppice corner, up the rise into the right-hander. He's through into second place. Here comes Jake Swan in the 66. Gordon Sawyer is on the inside for him, and right behind them is still Paul Donkin. They dodge about down the exhibition straight once again. Aaron Head's going to hold his lead on the inside. Jake Swan's trying to go through the middle. He could get second place here with a bit of luck on the brakes. No, Stephen Lyle holds the inside, but Swan's got past Gordon Sawyer. Where's Thompson? He's down to P5.
Yeah, Sawyer got through as well, so this is really not what Thompson wants with only 4 minutes left of this race. I'm seeing Donkin pull to one side, and other drivers trying to pull out the slipstream. I think they've got some overheating potential that we said yesterday, it saps some speed, but Aaron Head is out front with the clean air and therefore having a nice cool breeze over his radiators. So Sawyer makes it into the third place then. Lyle's got a bit of a gap. Thompson's down into that fourth place, and Donkin and Swan, who's initiated all those manoeuvres, are down in that fifth and sixth place. But Donkin's still holding on in there, but Swan's moved down the chicane, really threw the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yes, it's mixed things up a little, but Lewis Thompson recovering now, down to as low as fifth, which is the lowest he's been pretty much all season this year. I don't think he's dropped out of the top 5 almost at any point this year. His lowest position in a race this year was a 4th at Portimao in race 3. He's had at least 1 win at every round this year. Here's the second group going through now, with Dyer, Evans and Simmons fighting it out for 8th place in a battle almost as frantic as that for the lead of the race. Here come the leaders. Lyle and Head have broken clear slightly now of Gordon Sawyer in that 3rd place. Incidentally, Paul Donkin's got the fastest lap of the race, 1:11.799, as Thompson doesn't quite manage to get up with Gordon Sawyer as they head over the line. Now going for the inside with 2 wheels on the grass there is Lewis Thompson. 3 wide as Jake Swan goes round the outside of both of them. Donkin's on the outside as well. It's now 4 for 3rd place. The first 2 of Head and Lyle have broken away at the top of the order.
Lyle could really do with getting in front of Head to take that extra couple of points that it gives you at for the win, and that will help him in his championship, especially with Thompson down here. Thompson, a little bit of desperation there. Gordon Sawyer right out onto the curb there. He would have been a bit of a scared moment there as he used up every single last bit of the track. He was offline as he went in. But yeah, Lyle needs those extra points, and he needs Thompson to stay in that 4th place, or in 3rd place as it is now. Thompson, though, 2 wheels on the grass in a place that really wasn't their space there, so he was lucky to get away with it. But there is a championship rival disappearing off up the road. He's still doing enough at the moment with Lyle in 2nd place to sort of keep his championship. I mean, obviously they've got another round to go, but he can solidify it today by staying in that 3rd place.
Yes, he needs to keep that 3rd as a minimum here to keep him in with a chance of winning the title this weekend if he can win race 3. But it's Aaron Head looking good for a double at the moment. We don't want to put the curse of the commentator on things, of course. They come over the line, 2 laps to go. This time in his first race of the day, the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK. It's Head from Lyle. We have a look at a replay from further back. That's Ollie Smith getting a bit sideways in the number 4 there, chasing Carl Jones. Him who's lost the wing, I noticed there. And Ollie Smith just taking a little trip through the gravel. Very easy to do there on the exit of the old hairpin.
Absolutely. Well, if you don't get the weight transfer right and you've got a little bit too much speed, it's all off camber and it'll immediately take you off and put you in that gravel trap, as we saw there. You can see the car was just never settled. Here is our lead duo, though. Aaron Head leads Stephen Lyle. Stephen Lyle will want to take that position back. Thompson seeing if he can do anything about this this gap in front of him with only 1 minute of this race left to go. Aaron Head, though, still sitting up there. Every time he's been involved in a race weekend, he's been fully ensconced in that battle, our current reigning champion, but not in the championship hunt this year due to not being at every single round. Lyle needs those with the extra points, so for a win you get 25 points. For 2nd place is Head onto the grass on the exit of Coppice there. That's not usual. Lyle's going to get the inside line, is he? How did Head carry the momentum? Lyle is going to make that move. He takes that 25 points if he stays in that position to the end. This is going to coming on to the last lap then, yeah, and it's 23 points for 2nd, so you get an extra point gap, and it's so important in the championship.
Lewis Thompson trying to go after our 2 leaders, see what the gap is as they cross the line to the last lap. It's just over 2 seconds between 2nd and 3rd place. Aaron Head back around the outside, he retakes the lead, got the slipstream down the straight, but Stephen Lyle is certainly not finished yet as they head down towards the Craner Curves for the last time.
Yep, Head leads Lyle then. Lyle's searching for that extra point. Clock's going to run out. This will be the last lap, as we've said, as they come across the line. How are they going to manage this situation? The inside line into the chicane. Whoever's on that inside line does seem to be able to make and hold on. So who's going to make that move? Lyle's going to make a move up through Swans this time. Thompson's not going to come and figure in this. Donkin's made his way back up into that 4th ahead of Swan, and now it's Sawyer having to defend from Head, so he's having a struggling in the latter part of this race. But it is Head who currently leads Lyle. Is he going to get the inside line? Head's going to defend to the inside for his life now.
Yes, here we come down towards the chicane. Stephen Lyle's got to get the inside line here as they come down the chicane. No, you don't, says Aaron Head. He moves across, plants the car on the inside. Lyle's going to try and slipstream around the outside. He could get him here if he's late on the brakes. This is going to be very close. He's not quite got him on the brakes. He'll have to slipstream on the run to the line. He won't get close enough. It's going to be 2 out of 2 this weekend for the number 1 of Aaron Head. He takes his 2nd win. Who's going to be 3rd? It is Lewis Thompson. 4th for Paul Donkin. Swan is 5th. The photo finish for 6th. Gordon Sawyer just beats Dale Head home. And what about the battle for 8th? Ben Simmons and Matt Dyer side by side. Carl Jones in behind them. Where's he come from in the number 11? Simmons loses out off the chicane, and 8th place is going to go to Matt Dyer in the number 9. It's 3 and 4 abreast behind. Well, 5 abreast as they cross the line there. Further back, we'll have to wait for the photo to work that result out, I think. And there is the number 21 of Harry Landy, who had a spin early on. Angus McLean still going as well. They make their way home in behind Gary Lapidus in the number 16 car. Ollie Smith is further back as well after his moments at the old hairpin there. Angus McLean finishing a lap down after his visit into the pits early on after that bit of contact with Harry Landy.
Yeah, fantastic opening to the events today then. Plenty of Caterham action, and the 7 Championship UK drivers all showing good form there. Aaron Head, though, managed to keep ahead of Lyle. Lyle gave it a good go around the outside, but just the outside line's not working today, and Lyle was in that 2nd place then, ahead of Thompson, who will be again disappointed in that 3rd place, but at one point he was down to about 5th or 6th, so he will be pleased that he managed to recover it that far at least. Donkin, yeah, in his AM Championship, I think he's pretty much sat atop that championship without being able to be beaten. Swan throwing it down the inside through the chicane and scattering everyone away, but he made it stick, and Sawyer ending up in that 6th place.
Provisional results as follows. Aaron Head taking the win by 0.439 of a second over Stephen Lyle. Lewis Thompson was third, so still in with a small chance of taking the title here this weekend. Paul Donkin in fourth place. It was Jake Swan in fifth place who got the fastest lap on the very last lap, 1:11.765. Gordon Sawyer sixth in a photo finish with Dale Head, and then the battle for eighth was topped by Matt Dyer, and only a couple of seconds covered the next six home. Chris Fraser, Ben Simmons, Carl Jones, Finley Cooper from the back of the grid, Mike Evans and Gary Curtis, and just behind them was James Taylor, number 7. Further back was the 99 of Tom Eden, then Gary Lapidus, Harry Landy, Ollie Smith and Angus McLean finishing a lap down. All 20 cars making it home in our first race of the day for the Avon Tyres Caterham 7 Championship UK. So can Aaron Head take a maximum? We've seen 2 hat-tricks, both pulled off by Lewis Thompson at the start of the season at Alton Park and Croft. Let's head down to Sam Parker in Parc Fermé to catch up with our podium finishers.
So, same results as yesterday's race. Let's go and dive in and speak to these guys. Aaron, congratulations, another win. I bet you wish you'd done the whole championship, whole season now, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if only I wasn't getting married, honestly. Actually, it was my best mate, to be fair, so it's his fault. Yeah, no, it was really, really good race. You know, I was with Lewis a lot in the first half. I honestly thought we were going to pull away from the pack a little bit because it looked like they were getting into a good battle. And then I think Lewis must have just got swamped into the chicane, I think, and obviously Steve was just in front, so he was able to stay out of it, and yeah, it looked like they got a bit of a battle on, and he just sat behind me, so I was able to just do lap time by lap time, and eventually we just pulled away a little bit. So yeah, it was a good race, enjoyed it.
How hard is it to keep the focus when you're being, you know, hunted down that much?
It's hard because when you're in the lead and you've got a little bit of a gap, you see everyone battling behind, you're constantly going from slipstream to slipstream to give someone a bit more slipstream, just so that they're all in line for the corner.
Yeah.
So it's always concentrating on that, you know, focusing where you want to be to not give someone who's quicker a tow so that they stay in front and then just catch you up again. You know, you always want to focus on who may be a little bit slower and then give them the tow to get in front. So it's always just focusing on that really, and then just keeping consistent at the front and looking after the tyres for race 3 as well. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Excellent, can't wait to watch that one. Let's have a word with Stephen. Here he is, he's behind me. Stephen, congratulations. You did say you wanted it to go down to Silverstone. I think it might actually come down to Silverstone.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be with a, I don't know the words for it, but it's going to be a long shot, let's put it that way. I mean, we're literally down to all I've just got to keep on beating him. We can't beat Lewis every round. I mean, we've seen what he's done this year. So, yeah, we're on a bit of a high at the moment, and we keep on chipping away, but he's only got to beat me once, I think. So
we'll see. Never say never.
Hey, never say never.
Excellent, congratulations, great race. Let's have a word with Lewis. Jake Swan got fastest lap.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Was it Jake in the end?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt that. Well, another podium for you. I know it's probably not the position you wanted, but you got a bit swamped at the chicane, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just a bit carnage going into that chicane, and then as soon as one of the DPR boys got through, he just backed me all up, and so Aaron and Steve could get away. It's just a bit frustrating, obviously, not having my wingman up there, but yeah, you know, we'll go out there in the last race looking for a win, and yeah, hopefully we'll get it. So
excellent. Congratulations anyway. Thank you. Right, I think we've got some highlights next, and then we will have the Mag 7 race next. So we'll see you shortly.
Yes, thanks. Great to hear from some of the drivers down there. Harry Landy in that opening race of the day sent spinning off into Schwantz Curve. First time around, bit of contact with Angus McLean, and a stunning side-by-side battle ensued at the front of the field between Aaron Head and Lewis Thompson, with Stephen Lyle and Paul Donkin, the early names, trying to get involved. Jake Swan and Gordon Sawyer joining the battle as well. Some great moves down into the chicane, coming from nowhere on the inside at one point. Stephen Lyle to go from third to first, but he didn't hold his lead for long. It's 3 wide frequently down into the chicane. Aaron Head seemingly the only driver who could make the outside line work through the midpoint of that first race of the day. Paul Donkin eventually falling back into the clutches of Sawyer and Swan as he tried to go around the outside. Some terrific weaving and jinking down the straights. Classic Caterham slipstreaming action. It was an even bigger battle further back, if anything, for that 8th and 9th places. Hard to know where to look at times with two battles taking place at once. Gordon Sawyer nearly losing it at the Craner Curves, and a brief mistake from Aaron Head gave Stephen Lyle some hope, but he couldn't quite hold his lead through to the checkered flag.
It was great stuff from as we see Aaron Head working it around the outside late on in the race then, and just managed to make it through. I can hear the noise out of our commentary window, which means that the action never stops, does it? And we're up and running with the CSCC Gold Arts Mag 7s Championship.
Yes, the Classic Sports Car Club Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, a long-established series. Great to have them here as part of our Caterham package this weekend. First time we've seen them on BARC TV. It's a mixture of different Caterhams and other 7 types in this series, various classes based on power output and what tyres they use, so we'll do our best to guide you through that as the race goes on. There's also grid penalties been introduced for previous winners in different groups and classes over the course of the season. Pole position in the qualifying session yesterday went to number 51 Christian Pittard in his Caterham CSR, running in Class I, and he starts alongside 46 Stephen Nuttall's Caterham Supersport. Second row is number 88 Richard Webb. He's in the Atomic Racing MK Cup 200, that's a motorcycle engined kit car, alongside number 92 Colin Watson's Caterham C400. Row 3, number 10 Tim Bishop in a Caterham Road Sport, and 42 Richard Carter in a Caterham R300. There are some cars out there in this race with well over 300 horsepower under the driver's right foot, and when you consider how little a Caterham weighs, that's something quite impressive indeed. 94 Matthew Starbuck in a C400, alongside the CSR Superlight of 89 Bruce Wilson, a stalwart of this series. Completing the top 10, 241, which is William Redman in his 420R, alongside the CSR of Robert Forsdyke, number 188. The 6th row of the grid, number 553, which is Ashley Haig Boyles in a Caterham 420. Stephen Boyles will race that car in race 2 later on, and Mark Lanyon alongside him in his Superlight R. On row 7, it's Johnny Pittard. He's one of our drivers with a grid penalty. He's in a supercharged CSR, one of the most powerful cars on the grid. He was actually quickest in qualifying yesterday. No, second quickest, I apologise, in qualifying yesterday, but he's got a grid penalty. Alongside him, Stephen Collins, car number 69 with a 420R. Row 8 is Charles Holroyd, number 35, and number 80, Tim Davis. Now, he will probably be the favourite for victory here, along with Johnny Pittard. He's on a grid penalty back on row 8. He will fly through this field. Row 9, Andy Yeomans, 36, and Martin Dolan, car number 7. The 10th row, 99, Peter French, probably the longest-serving Magnificent Sevens driver, alongside Malcolm Ash, number 21. And the last few cars in the group, we've got David Stephen, number 41, and 16, Martin Ledbetter on row 11. Row 12 is number 3, Jeremy Adams, and 75, Stephen Trinder. And on row 13 is Luke Suru, the Greek Cypriot descending driver in his Caterham Supersports. Now, there are 2 groups in this series. Classes A, B and C are Group 1 for the less powerful cars, and Luke Tsuru has won the group so many times he got a 25 place grid penalty for this race, so he has to start from the back of the grid. This will be a slightly longer race at 30 minutes. It is the number 51 of Christian Pittard on pole in the orange car with the blue and white stripe. One of the cars to watch is that orange and black car of Tim Davis. I've seen him against bigger fields of Mag 7s than this here at Donington start from the pit lane, and he was still leading within about 4 laps. That's how powerful that number 80 car is, the ex-TVR racer Tim Davis in the Boss Racing Caterham C400. The other car to watch is starting just ahead of him, the black and gold JPS, Johnny Pittard Special of the eponymous Johnny Pittard. He's in a Caterham 7 CSR with a supercharged 2.5 litre engine. Those 2 cars will be up with Christian Pittard and Stephen Nuttall for the lead before very long. Colin Watson in the Boss Racing car, the white and day-glow orange car, is going to be one to watch as well. Those cars in Class I for the most powerful cars. Power output of over 300 horsepower in Class I. And also you've got Richard Webb in the bike-engined MK Cup 200 as well. The most powerful and some of the fastest Caterhams you will see here this weekend about to get underway. The CSCC Magnificent 7, sponsored by Gold Arts Jewellers, and a terrible start. Well, the pole sitter hasn't got away at all. Christian Pittard has stalled it in the 51. As cars on the grass avoiding him there, and it is, by the look of it, Stephen Nuttall who has got the lead into Redgate for the first time. Watch for number 80, Tim Davis, as he starts to come through, and 81, Johnny Pittard in the black and gold car should be up there very shortly as well, but it is Nuttall who leads, Richard Webb in second, Colin Watson is in third. Webb goes for the lead down into the old hairpin and goes through for the first time, but a disastrous start for our pole sitter Christian Pittard. Was lucky not to get walloped as they came off the grid there.
Yeah, bravo to all the drivers following to spot that car going slowly and avoid, like you say, some having to take to the grass, but it keeps them all in the race, and Pittard will be up and running. There's Stephen Nuttall chasing down then Webb in front of the crowd. Stephen Nuttall is number 46, and if you follow him on the official Caterham Motorsport ladder, you'll know he was the champion in 21 in the 7 Championship UK, which we've just watched, but this is a different machine entirely as he comes down the outside. He's made the outside line work into the Robert chicane. Has he? No, he's still going to. Webb's going to defend back, and these two go side by side. So the outside line is really not working at all. But Nuttall is going to go across the line. A little bit of a gap then back to our third place drivers side by side once more as they go over the line. Nuttall seeing if the outside line to Redgate's going to work, but no, it's Webb going to hold on down the inside.
Yeah, Stephen Nuttall, an incredibly quick driver of all Caterhams, and look, Tim Davis is already up into the top 5. He could get 4th place here with a bit of luck. That's Robert Forsdyke ahead of him in the Class H Caterham CSR 2.5 litre engine. Class H is cars with a power output of 261 to 300 brake horsepower for the second most powerful class. But Tim Davis just straight past him down the Craner curves there. He's up in 4th position now. Richard Carter's up there as well, number 42. He's in Class G. That's 231 to 260 brake horsepower. He's in a Caterham R300 with a 2 litre engine. The colour described as isotope green. That's number 42 car. We'll try and get a sight of that as it comes through here.
And whenever you hear the horsepower rating, so 300 horsepower, that's going to be 600 horsepower per tonne, because these cars all weigh roughly half a tonne each, like same kind of weight as a Mini. So you can imagine driving a Mini with 300 horsepower. That's what these guys are doing out there in these Mag 7 machinery. Stephen Nuttall now down the inside of Webb, makes that stick. Webb having to capitulate that time through, but Stephen Nuttall looks like he's got speed in different places. Webb's really good on those brakes, so Stephen Nuttall managing to outbrake in that time. You can see the slight different stances of these two cars out front. Nuttall's going to see if he can hold on, but Webb's back down the inside. Really good on the brakes, late on the brakes there. Nuttall I've spoken to earlier today, and he's saying he's now got a sequential box with flappy paddles on the back of his steering wheel there to do changing, which is great. Well, number 3's had an excellent radiator's looking a bit punctured there.
Yeah, that's the number 3 of Jeremy Adams, the Boss Racing Caterham 420R. That's up at Coppice, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a safety car if you can't get that move from there. Johnny Pittard is now making a move, the number 81, the JPS. It's in black and gold JPS colours. Johnny Pittard Special it stands for, and he's got the supercharged 2.5 litre engine in his car, and certainly the quickest along with Christian Pittard in qualifying in yesterday's race. Jeremy Adams got the car back out of the way, I noticed, there onto the grass. There were yellow flags out there. Well done to the marshals for helping him to get clear. So it's Nuttall, Webb, Colin Watson in 3rd. I first saw him race at Hensford Raceway in the National Hot Rods many years ago in a Toyota Starlet. It was a similar colour, the Dayglow orange and white, to his Boss Racing Caterham C400 here. There he is in the background in 3rd place. It's Davis 4th, there he is. Forsdyke is back in 5th place. The only other non-Caterham in this race, incidentally, number 16, Martin Ledbetter. He's in a ProComp LA Gold kit car. ProComp Motorsport based in Birmingham built that machine, and then you'll recognise that car as it comes through because it's in a very bright orange. You know the colour of dyno rod vans that you see out on the road? It's in exactly the colour of those.
There you go. Pittard made himself up to 4th in class. That's going to be 6th overall, so making his way back through after that disastrous getaway, in fact no non-getaway from the line. Watson stuck in a little bit no man's land, isn't he? Seeing whether he can close in. He's 3.6 seconds back at the moment. A little bit longer race this one, so it's a half an hour race for all these drivers out here. They've got another chance for another race later on today. Number 27 goes through, so Zuru goes through ahead of Lanyon in there as well. So yeah, the Boss colours are sort of magnificent across all these championships. You can see them in their white and orange, and Watson obviously one of their sister cars up in 3rd place.
Looking at the class leaders, well, we mentioned classes A, B and C. They form Group 1 for some of the less powerful cars, and that's already being led by Luke Suru, who started from the back of the grid. So he'll have an even bigger grid penalty for the next race. I think it's five place grid penalty per group win. Webb in Class K, the only bike-engined car out there in the top group. He's battling it out with the Class I car of Stephen Nuttall. They're swapping places for fun for the overall race lead.
It's got no side screens on that car, so you can see him soaring away. Watch his elbows sort of flicking at the wheel. You can see how rare it is for the car, that all the wheels to be sort of stuck to the floor. You're floating these Caterhams around, especially with the power that they're running in these cars out there. So absolutely sort of dancing the cars around. Watson even more in no man's land, so he's going to have a bit of a lonely race today, but it's certainly not lonely up front with Webb and Nuttall going at it.
Christian Pittard has set the fastest lap of the race, 1:10.094, going even quicker than the Caterham 7 Championship UK cars were earlier on. So recovering to P8 now after stalling on the grid. Side by side between the two leaders, once again down towards the chicane. Richard Webb gets the lead back once again. We'll quickly run you through the other class leaders. Class H is being led by Ron Forsdyke in 5th place. Class G by Richard Carter in 6th. Class D by Ashley Haig Boyles. Class E by number 69 Stephen Collins, who's raced in a variety of Caterham series over the years. William Redman leads Class F, Luke Suru Class C. Class B is led by the number 21 of Malcolm Ash, and Class A by David Stephen, car number 41. So those are your class leaders. The classes all based on different power outputs and also what tyres the car's using. There's Christian Pittard on his recovery drive. He's got past Forsdyke now up into P5. We said how quick Christian Pittard's car is. There's Richard Carter just behind them as well. So Christian Pittard is up to 5th. Johnny Pittard is showing as 5th, and Christian Pittard in 7th. He's just gained another place past Forsdyke there, so I'm getting the Pittards mixed up. Apologies there.
But yeah, still lots of time, so 23 minutes left, so still time to break across gaps and get your car back into the position you need to be in. I believe Nuttall, as well as trying to go for this Mag 7's championship, after this race is complete, he's going to get in his car and drive up to Croft, because he's going to be driving in a Chevron in another championship. So such is the life of a racing driver of Nuttall's calibre. He's got to go and try and win another championship this afternoon, as we see Webb cross that line first last time through, and this time see whether he crosses again. But Nuttall's got a busy day ahead of him then, looking at Forsdyke and Pittard on our screen. So there's 188 of Forsdyke.
Yes, I believe it's the HSCC Guards Trophy, if I remember rightly, that Stephen Nuttall will be racing in a little bit later on. So we want Richard Carter, regular race winner in this series over the years, attacking Rob Forsdyke. This is for P7 overall. Goes through. Carter leading Class G. His only rival is Bruce Wilson. There's a few classes with only 1 or 2 entries in them. A bit further back, the most numerous class is Class F with 6 cars, and that's being led by Will Redman, who's in P13. Further back in the order with his Caterham 420R. Luke Suru has just lost a place to number 94 of Matthew Starbuck, who's in a more powerful Class F car. Luke Suru leading Class C and leading Group 1, as he has been for most of this season. Christian Pittard on the new fastest lap, 1:08.776. There's Bruce Wilson being chased by the number 69 of Stephen Collins in the Purified Air sponsored car. You notice all the cars displaying the name Gold Arts. That's Gold Arts Jewellers, based down on the south coast. A long-time Caterham racer Doug Newman Sr.'s business. He raced Caterhams for many years and has been a sponsor of this series almost since it started out with the Classic Sports Car Club many years back. Stephen Collins there leading Class E in P12. Powered by Carlsberg, he tells us that car is yesterday. No drinking and driving, of course, as he chases Bruce Wilson here, who's second in Class G to Richard Carter, who we saw in the bright green car. And here comes William Redman, number 241. He leads Class F. Class F for cars with 186 to 230 brake horsepower. That's another of the Boss Racing cars. They've got about 7 or 8 cars in this grid, and they're running Freddie Chiddicks this weekend as well. Boss Racing have certainly bossed it in this series for many, many years now. This next group headed up by, I think that's the 54 of Mark Lanyon, the older style number 54 car. The Super Light R, the 1.8 litre engine. William Redman, number 241, he's got a 2 litre engine in his 420R. The 2 leaders well clear now of Tim Davis, who's got ahead of Colin Watson, his Boss Racing teammate, but he's still 10 seconds back on Nuttall and Webb. I thought he'd be up with the leaders fairly quickly, but it does show how his opposition have advanced over the years, because Tim Davies used to win these races almost for fun.
Yeah, there's an engineering effort here as well, isn't there? Different machinery comes along and different ways of generating speed. We've seen so many different types of 7, and this is the engineering side of things, isn't it? Pushing it, see how far you can go, see what toys and things and setup changes you can make that push things forward. And they often have battles across, cross championships and cross sort of classes as well, and they're all out here enjoying the delights of driving the Donington National Circuit, this 2-mile famous strip of tarmac. And if you've never been out here driving on this tarmac, and I highly encourage it, especially if you like track days and whatever. So yeah, it's really great to be out here and these enjoying the racing as we see some more side-by-side action there going into Redgate.
There is Luke Suru, dominated Group 1 so far this year, classes A, B and C. Leading Class C is only rival number 7 Martin Dolan, who's a few places further back. William Redman under fire from another of the Boss racing cars, Matthew Starbuck in Class F, the 2-litre Caterham C400. But this, as we said, is open to any 7 type, any Caterham or Lotus 7 type of car. We've got the kit cars out there as well. And they even competed in a 24-hour race recently at the Anglesey circuit. Not a continuous 24 hours, run a bit like on the lines of the Le Mans Classic. It was a 24-hour Classic Sports Car Club event with all their series competing in back-to-back races. Oh, Colin Watson has just pulled into the pits. He was up there battling with the Pitards for 4th position, so Colin Watson has had a problem. The 92 car is in pit lane, and Tim Bishop, number 10, has pulled into the pits as well.
Yeah, so I guess, you know, 24 hours is not an insignificant length of time to keep a car running, especially one of them that are so tightly tuned as this. You imagine trying to keep all that engineering in order. Here is that Nuttall on the right there, still getting sort of sweeping through. But where is Webb? In fact, Nuttall's ahead of Webb, isn't he? So yeah, Webb's following on behind.
3 seconds back.
Nuttall's sort of broken the elastic on that, hasn't he? He's managed to make his way through the field, and that extra speed we're seeing is just trying to chop through the lapping cars here. There's a lot of speed difference between the front of this lap. 108 is at the front, and I think there's a 126 in qualifying at the back. So quite significant speed difference. So traffic and lead cars are definitely a part of Mag 7 racing.
Yes, with so many different power outputs, encountering traffic is inevitable. They're not as closely bunched as the other Caterhams we see so far this weekend. There's that Pro Comp LA Gold that we told you about there, the very bright orange car, number 16 of Martin Ledbetter. He's at the back of the pack, a couple of laps down now at the moment. Colin Watson has rejoined from the pits. We don't know what the problem was there. Just had a quick visit to the pits. There's only one car, I believe, that's retired so far. It's Jeremy Adams. He won Group 1 in the 24-hour race at Anglesey when the aggregate of, I think it was 4 races for the Magnificent Sevens was added together. The orange car there being lapped is Peter French, one of the longest serving drivers in the Mag 7s, with his Caterham Superlights R400, the orange car. They make their way down towards the Craner curves. Once again, we're still only just coming up to half distance in the first of 2 races today for the CSCC Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens. Peter French just being lapped there. Now normally they're slightly longer races for this series, up to about 40 minutes in length, and they normally have a mandatory pit stop, with some cars having a driver change between 2 drivers. But today, 2 30-minute races, no pit stops, and there's only one car being shared by 2 drivers. 553, the Boyles family. Ashley Haig Boyles driving in this race, and Stephen Boyles, the ex-Porsche racer, will take over for race 2 as Stephen Nuttall continues to dominate.
Look at those, the tyres there screaming enough from Steve Nuttall, but he wasn't willing to let go of that accelerator, cutting through the field. We see him in his SJN, another sort of black and gold livery. He's kept that since he started back in the academy with Matt Dyer, we saw earlier on in 2012. So racing these Caterham, and multiple Caterham champion. He's won 4-5 championships now with Caterham, every single step of the ladder. In fact, I think he's one of the only drivers to have ever done that. So great for him to see him out there in this Mag 7 championship and cutting his way through this field. There's Webb in that 2nd place. He's also sort of cutting through his field. Once Steve Nuttall's been through, they all know he's coming now, so they'll keep an eye on their mirrors a little bit more. So Nuttall's got to sort of initially do the cutting through, but Webb is benefiting from that. But at the moment, 4.6 seconds is coming out of reach, but we are only at halfway point of this race.
Yes, he's slowly but surely pulling away, Stephen Nuttall, from Richard Webb. Tim Davis still in 3rd place, 2nd in Class I behind Nuttall. Then it's the Pitards, Christian in 4th, ahead of Johnny in 5th place. So the orange car's got back ahead of the black and gold machine. Then it's a gap back to Richard Carter in 6th position. Peter Forsdyke is down to 7th in the 188 machine. He's running in Class H, so he's leading the class there because the only other Class H car is in pit lane. Tim Bishop, he's out of the race. Completing the top 10, Colin Watson, who didn't lose that much ground with his brief visit to the pits. He's still in 8th place. Then Ashley Haig Boyles and Bruce Wilson rounding up the top 10. And this is Bruce Wilson, the number 89. Still got the number plates and lights there. He's lost a wing as well. The right rear wheel arch has gone missing from his car. And then behind them we've got the battle between Collins and Starbuck. 69 Stephen Collins. One podium, he was telling us, in his career. That was at Brands Hatch a few years back when a couple of cars ahead of him got penalised. He stopped in the pit lane and was wondering why on earth he'd been pulled over by the marshals. Turns out he'd finished in third place and he hadn't realised. Race is purely for enjoyment. Stephen Collins battling it out with Matthew Starbuck in the number 94, the Boss Racing car. Starbuck leading Class F. He's got ahead of William Redmond, we saw earlier. The Boss Racing car climbing slowly but surely through the field. The lead gap is up to nearly 6 seconds now. It's Nuttall pulled away by over a second last time through. There are the Pittards running together. Christian in the orange car, Johnny in black. There's Will Redman. There's Christian Pittard, the orange car. So that means that the Pittards, I think, have lapped Will Redman possibly now. Just over 13 minutes of this race to go from the CSCC Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, the first of 2 races for them here at Donington Park today. There is the Johnny Pittard special. Wonderful sounding supercharged engine. In the background there, Luke Tsuru, 27. He is still leading Class C. There is Redman in the 241. Having lost out on the class lead to Matthew Starbuck, who's continuing his climb through the field. Nuttall's lead now to 7.3 seconds. He's continuing to pull away by the rate of now about 1.5 seconds a lap from Richard Webb in second place in the MK Cup 200, the motorcycle engined MK machine. Tim Davis still in third place, but he's quite a way behind our 2 leaders, so I thought he'd overcome his grid penalty fairly quickly. The grid penalty used to be that if you'd won the previous race, you'd have to start from the pit lane when this series first started. And the likes of Mark Coling, I remember, and Carl Woodwiss used to regularly start from the pit lane and still win, so they had to change things a little bit. The grid penalty system organised by the CSCC, the Classic Sports Car Club, follows along the lines of the time penalties they have in other series as well, where you have, if you win a race, you carry over a 30-second penalty for the rest of the season in their other sports car and GT series.
It's like Nuttall slicing through the field here, just left and right. Wherever there's a gap, he can put that car in it, and he does it. So I can see that Pittard is 1.2. He's catching up by seconds and seconds over Davis in that third place on track, second in class. So yeah, Pittard looks like he's going to get back through into that second place in class at this stage.
And Stephen Nuttall comes through to complete another lap. 16 laps in the book then, with 11 minutes of this race still to go. He's lapped everybody now up to Richard Carter, who's in 6th position. That's how dominant Stephen Nuttall is now. He's pulled away from Richard Webb. Nearly gained another near enough 2 seconds on that last lap over the MK. Slices past another back marker as he comes down the Craner curves. Still Tim Davis in third, then the Pittards, then Carter and Rob Forsdyke, number 188. Colin Watson still there in 8th after his pit visit. And Ashley Haig-Boyles and Bruce Wilson still rounding out the top 10. Just a couple of retirements. We lost Jeremy Adams up at Coppice on the second lap, and Tim Bishop, number 10, having pulled into the pits in the Class H Caterham Motorsport, the 2.3 litre Furbish Homes sponsored car. Here's a battle just in front of our race leader. We've got Mark Lanyon in there at the front of it with the old roll cage design on his machine. 35 coming through. There's Charles Holroyd. The Holroyd family have raced not only Caterhams over the years, but I remember David Holroyd in his classic Lotus Elan in the Swinging 60s series run by the CSCC, among others. The leader coming up to lap.
And overtaking 2 as we go down into Redgate, just at will he can put that car wherever he needs to do. We saw Stephen Trinder on screen briefly, one of the drivers sort of with those lower spec cars and doing 124s compared to 108s. Can you imagine the speed difference that feels like in these lead cars? Your neck must be screaming as you head round this straight. There's not a lot of room down the inside for the number 41 there, was there? That's Stephen going through on the number 21 of Ash.
Yeah, that was David Stephen, the Class A leader, passing Malcolm Ash, the Class B leader, for position. They're fighting for 20th place overall. They're 3 laps down on our race leader now. We have seen these races quite frequently won by a full lap, given the gulf in performance between some of these cars. But the Classic Sports Car Club, their motto is motorsport for cars of all ages. And as long as you have a 7 type, you can race it with this series, no matter what its performance, really. So we do see quite a gulf in performance between the quicker and the slower cars.
There's 2 humps on the back straight there going down the exhibition straight. Normally in a Caterham we brake just after the second hump to get it slowed down, but it's such as the speed of Nuttall's car that he's having to brake, I think, just slightly before the rise in the track, and then manages brakes over it. But as we see, I think Pittard probably going to come across the line ahead of Davies this time through. He was riding on his tail last time through, so we'll see. Or is it still nose to tail, I think, going across? But let's keep an eye out whether Pittard's made it back up to 3rd.
There's Richard Webb in the doorless MK Cup 200. He's still 2nd. He drops a long way back from Stephen Nuttall now, and it is Christian Pittard who has come through into 3rd. He'll be wondering what might have been after stalling on the line, because I'm sure he'd be up with Stephen Nuttall. Let's just have a look at their lap times. Yeah, his last lap was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Nuttall.
Yeah, so he's got that speed in that car, just not necessarily going to have a time, is he? He's got 11 and then a 14-second gap to come across, so it is very unlikely in the last 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, he's going to be able to do that. As we watch a little bit further back there.
That's Rob Forsdyke.
Yeah, and he's only just ahead of Watson, right?
Richard Carter's pulled into the pits as well, so another leading player in problems. So Carter has pitted in the number 42 with some sort of an issue. Saw Colin Watson pull in earlier. He didn't lose too much time because he's one of the quicker and more powerful Class I cars, the most powerful class of Class I for power outputs of over 301 horsepower. Of course, Classes J and K are for the cars with motorcycle engines, and we haven't got any Class J entries, so the only Class K is Rich Webb, who's still there in 2nd. There is Peter French, the number 99, was out with the Classic Sports Car Club at Mallory Park on Bank Holiday Monday just gone. So a couple of weekends of racing in the Midlands. And where is Peter French in the classification? P19 at the moment, 4th in Class F, which is still led by Matthew Starbuck. That's another couple of seconds lost by Richard Webb last time round. Now, what's the gap between Webb and Christian Pittard? It's 10.2 seconds at the line last time through, and he's lapping nearly 2 seconds quicker, so I reckon Christian Pittard will get P2 before the end of this race.
Yep, so after that stall or misfire at the start and went all the way to the back of this field, he's had an adventure to come all the way back up to 2nd in class, 3rd on the road. Webb's the next man up the road, 2 seconds a lap faster. We should easily see that before the end of this 6 minutes, as long as nothing else goes wrong and traffic works in his favour.
So the 6 minutes of this race to go then. There's Luke Tsuru, and he's being reeled in by number 81 of Johnny Pittard, 4th in class, 5th overall. How far behind Tim Davis is he? 24 seconds, that's where. Tim Davis, in fact, is only a couple of seconds, 3.2 seconds behind Christian Pittard, but Pittard lapping a second quicker now as he reels in Richard Webb. The gap between P2 and P3 down to 7.5 seconds as the orange number 51 tries to catch the white number 88 for 2nd. The 46 continues to lead the way, Stephen Nuttall. The 51 of Christian Pittard continuing to chase down Rich Webb for 2nd place.
Yep, Nuttall disappearing off. You could see as he was going around Coppice then how much he's pushing that car. It really is jiving away, and you can see that it's floating over this in the slick tyres that he's running on in the number 46 SJN black and gold machinery of Stephen Nuttall, looking to see whether he can secure this championship and then later on today secure a 2nd one. What a day as he swoops through Redgate, and we follow back. There's a car stuck on the outside of the chicane there. I don't know if you can hit the barrier. You can see double waved yellows, so whether he's met the barrier, but he's certainly stuck on the edge of the track, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that might have been Bruce Wilson, number 89. I think he's moved it from there. Now we can see just on the left. He's got into the pit lane, I think. He stopped in the pit lane entrance. You can just see on the right of your screen. We'll pick up who that is in a moment if we can. I think it may have been Bruce Wilson. Now there is the 51 of Christian Pittard. He's got the gap down to just over 6 seconds now. Obviously he'll be slowed by the yellow flag at the chicane. He's got the fastest lap of the race and trying to chase down Rich Webb for second place. So Christian Pittard, the number 51. This car is a Caterham 7 CSR with a 2.5 litre engine. Again, with that power to weight of over 600 horsepower per tonne, most likely, in that car. He's been racing with this series for many years, as has Johnny Pittard. And he's going to try and get P2 away from Rich Webb if he can close in. Just ahead of him there is Richard Carter, who's rejoined after a pit stop. He's now down in P18.
See, even the front wheel arches on that the Pittard car has aerodynamics on them compared to the championships we've been seeing. They're very strict rules and regulations as he goes through into that yellow flag, but it's all the move is done and dusted by the time he gets there, so no problem. They still haven't obviously cleared that car out of pit lane entry, but yeah, even the aerodynamics of the mudguards changes as they're allowed to sort of fiddle with their timing regulations.
Still not certain who that is up there. Johnny Pittard's lost 2 places, number 81 on our timing screen there. He's not come through on this latest lap. Is that him in pit lane entrance? It looked to me as though when I caught a glimpse of the car parked on the curb, there's Johnny Pittard, he stops.
That's someone else.
Now, is that the run up to Coppice?
Is that old hairpin exit maybe? It's hard to say. Maybe McLean's exit, like you say, yeah, it probably is up there, but a car stuck on the outside. How are they going to deal with this with only 3 minutes to go? If they put the safety car out, that'll probably be the end of the race. Will they cover it under double yellows just to see this race with the last 2 minutes 50 seconds to complete?
Stephen Trinder is the car that stopped in pit lane entrance, number 75. He's in a Caterham Academy car in Class A, so that's the car we've lost coming out of the final chicane, and the red flag is coming out.
Yep, so a couple of pit lane entrance blocked, a car stuck between McLean's and Coppice, so they've decided they will red flag this. I doubt very much they will get that back up and running. They are being sent into the pit lane around Trinder's stricken car. A little bit of dirt on the inside of the chicane, and we saw his car at a funny angle on the exit of the chicane, so I'm not sure what went on there, but hopefully he didn't make it to the barrier.
I'm wondering if he spun it through the chicane or gone over the gravel, tried to make it into pit lane, then maybe realised he's got no steering or something.
It could well be that, but Nuttall then takes that win by a comfortable margin. We were robbed a bit of Pittard trying to catch up with Webb at the end of that race, weren't we? But didn't quite make it. So Nuttall will be classed as the winner therefore, and yeah, that job one done for him today.
Yes, indeed. Stephen Nuttall taking the win, where the result has been counted back to the end of lap 22 by the look of things, so he'll win by 20.3 seconds. Stephen Nuttall, he had a close fight with Richard Webb early on, but the Caterham proving the more durable than the MK Cup 200. Christian Pittard got to within 4.25 seconds or so of Richard Webb before the red flag came out there with Johnny Pittard and Stephen Trinder stranded. Try saying that when you've had a few out on circuit there. Christian Pittard, good recovery after stalling on the line, will take 3rd place. And Tim Davis, not too often we see him off the podium in Magnificent 7 races, he's down in 4th. Colin Watson, good recovery after making a pit stop, he rounds out the top 5. We'll run you through the result in a moment and the class winners as well. We lost Martin Ledbetter, the bright orange Pro Comp, as well into the pits a few laps from home as well. Let's have a look back at some of the highlights. Well, Christian Pittard didn't go anywhere from pole position, and there was a scatter as everybody fortunately managed to miss him. 1 or 2 cars going onto the grass. That's allowed Stephen Nuttall and Rich Webb to get clear into the first corner, and they had a good sparring contest in the early stages of that race, the Caterham against the MK. Jeremy Adams went spinning. We didn't see if there was any contact there, the number 3 car, some damage to the nose cone and the radiator. That was his race over after just a couple of laps.
I'd suggest there was some contact.
Yes, we didn't see who was involved, I was trying to say there. As Stephen Nuttall sliced his way through back markers as the race progressed. Martin Dolan and Rob Forsdyke, we see there. Good battle between 2 of our class winners in that race, David Stephen and Malcolm Ash further back. This is the incident for Stephen Trinder. Wheel onto the grass coming out of the chicane and wallop straight into the tyre wall.
Just like you said, he obviously figured out he didn't have any steering by the time he pulled it across the track, and there is that 81 stricken out on track as well.
Looks great, doesn't it? The Johnny Pittard special in that matte black livery. Don't know what the problem is. So Stephen Nuttall takes the win by 20 seconds over Rich Webb, who wins Class K. Nuttall winning Class I. The other class winners, Rob Forsdyke in P6. He won Class H. Bruce Wilson winning Class G with number 89. Because we lost Richard Carter into the pits, of course. Class D went to Ashley Haig-Boyles, number 553. Class F to Matthew Starbuck in the number 94. Stephen Collins won Class E in car number 69 in 11th place. Group 1 and Class C was won by Luke Suru from the back of the grid in number 27. And further back, Class B went to Malcolm Ash in car 21. And number 41 of David Stephen won Class A. 4 retirements in that race. We lost Martin Ledbetter and Tim Bishop into the pits, and we saw what happened to Stephen Trinder and Johnny Pittard. Of course, we lost Jeremy Adams as well early on. Well, next up on track today, we've got the Mottle Caterham 7 310R Championship. That's just once the volunteer marshals have recovered the couple of cars stranded out on circuit. Of course, we've got repairs ongoing at the exit of the chicane at the moment. This is what would bring out the red flags when Stephen Trinder spun into the tyre wall.
Yeah, it was quite a bump, wasn't it, for Trinder as he headed into the tyre wall there. A little bit of work to get the conveyor belt, you can see in front of those tyres, just fixed up. And yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity as ever to thank our marshals out on track as they clear up after these messy drivers. And they do that job all throughout the year all across our UK circuits and around the world. Some of these marshals will travel and take their expertise to other circuits around the world. Really enjoy it, and yeah, perfect job by them this weekend. Nice sun to greet them, but on behalf of all our drivers out here across all of the championships we've got running, thank you ever so much to our marshals. I know that we tend to try and feed them chocolates, and I know that the Academy are arranging to send some over to our marshals, so I'm glad that we can keep them fueled up and ready to do things like this job of tidying up the barriers on the air. Not an often times hit barrier, that one actually. It's kind of an unusual accident. You can spin out from the outside, but the more usual is to drift wide and then carry on going to the outside of the track. So, but you can see why the tyre wall.
Do you speak from experience on that?
I've seen it plenty of times, but I've not seen anyone hit the inside there. So well, sort of a Trinder. Yeah, hopefully his car will be back out this afternoon, but he's got a little bit of work to get that done. But yeah, so again, looking resplendent out there, and we've talked all day, talked all yesterday about how much action we've got, and we've still got lots of action even before lunch break today, so do stay tuned all day with us. We've got Caterham's galore, starting next up with the Caterham 7 310R Championship, and we'll talk you through the runners and riders on that one.
First of all, I think we can head down to Sam in pit lane.
So I've just come into Caterham Hospitality and I have found Duncan Mallet. Duncan, how's your weekend going so far?
Not amazing. It's sort of been a bit of a it's had a few peaks and a few troughs. So started the weekend quite badly. Came 13th in qualifying. For my first race, I got all the way up to 5th. I kept making my way through the pack, which was great, until I had a brake failure on the final lap. So that, unfortunately, that means I'm starting 22nd today. You know,
you've got some work to do today.
It's a new challenge. I'm quite excited actually, and I've also got because Charlie also had an issue yesterday, so I've got him starting at the back as well. So maybe we can help each other today to get back to the front. But you know, I'm still aiming quite highly. I hope to be able to get back to the front by the end of race 1, and then fight in race 2, and then fight in race 3. Hopefully, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, exactly. And how because obviously Ben Timmons was in the race as a guest driver yesterday as well, after winning the Road Sport Championship back at Snetterton. He did amazingly well, a bit like yourself. You know, you jump in this different championship and all of a sudden you're right at the front. So clearly, you know, you've got taken all that learning from the last couple of years and put it into the 270, which is not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, I mean, well, with Ben, I saw him on track towards the end of race 1 yesterday. It was great to fight with him again. I mean, it's been ages. It's been absolutely ages for me and him to fight again. But yeah, no, I think it's because I think 270 is a challenge, not because of pace. The pace is fine. The pace is there for both of us. It's about how you race, how you work with your other competitors in order to get closer and closer to winning. It's a completely different challenge to, say, Academy or Road Sport.
Yeah. But how do you feel also when you're in the race, knowing that the championship is decided this weekend with like Charlie Lowe and Freddie Chiddicks? How do you feel about getting in the mix with that? You know, you're quite conscious of that. You don't want to, you know, trip them up or get in their way.
Honestly, it doesn't bother me that much because obviously I don't take points. So if I say I came second, whoever's third will get the points for second. And so far I haven't tripped either of them up or anyone up. So I mean, I don't really think about that sort of thing. So yeah, it doesn't bother me that much actually.
So I'm looking forward to seeing you coming from the back then. I can't wait to see it. You're going to be storming through with a mission on your mind.
Absolutely. I'm really excited actually. I've got no pressure on me, which is great.
Yeah, that is the beauty of it, isn't it? You literally can only go forward.
Exactly.
So
yeah, thank you very much.
Well done. Thanks, Duncan. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Thanks, Sam. Nice to hear from young Duncan Mallet down there. Yes, we saw him go flying off at McLean's on the last lap of yesterday's race, and that's the reason why his brake pedal went to the floor. So we'll see Duncan out a little bit later on. But next up it is the Motul Caterham 7 310R Championship. And the championship yesterday all but sewn up by Jack Sales, I believe.
Yeah, he is the champion-elect. He, even if he doesn't take part in these next 2 races, and even if Hoffman wins with fastest lap, it goes to a tie-break, which Jack Sales wins on the count of the fact that he's got 4 second places over Hoffman's 2 second places over the course of the weekend, over the year, sorry. So yeah, Jack Sales is champion-elect, and we're yet to hear whether he will be taking part in this race. He's got a decision to make, because obviously if you've got enough points to win it without taking part, and you do take part and get points on your licence, it costs you penalty points on your championship as well. So it's a kind of decision as to, do you want to risk it, get involved, or do you want to sit on the sidelines and just let the season hang out? I know that Jack Sales is really keen to race today, so it'll be just his head over his heart decision as to whether he gets involved. He's leaping off the tyre barrier there for one of our support crew, as they're just getting these the conveyor belt, as we call it, over the top of those tyre barriers, sort of all hitched and back up again. It's such an important part of modern track safety. That conveyor belt was really improved. It sort of dissipates the energy across all the tyre stacks, and it stops cars. It helps to stop cars going underneath and missing out on there before they hit the concrete walls. So great to see them all nearly back up and running. Few last bolts and getting all the machinery now out the way. Just pushing and shoving everything as it should be, but we will be up and running again shortly. As we said, Jack Sayles has sewn up the championship, and we'll see whether he's out there racing, but still Hoffman and Taylor O'Flanagan are going head to head for second place. Hoffman is pretty safe there, even if Taylor O'Flanagan wins and gets fastest lap in the next 2 races that they've got over the course of this finals weekend. Hoffman just needs a 4th and a 3rd, but he's been there or thereabouts all season, so there's no reason why he wouldn't do that, and certainly the odds are in his favour. Taylor O'Flanagan is safe in that 3rd place though, so he has got a confirmed 3rd place in that championship. So this is finals weekend for all but the 7 Championship UK as far as the official Caterham Motorsport ladder goes, so we will see lots of champions throughout the course of today. Jack Sayles has been that. We've already got Ben Timmins in the road sports is elected champion, but we've got Academy, we've still got the 270 to decide in quite an exciting race a little bit later on, and so plenty more action, and we've also got to sort out the sort of lower steps of the podiums as well throughout the course of the day. But at the moment, in this next race coming up, it is between Hoffman and Taylor O'Flanagan, the 4th step of the Caterham Motorsport ladder. Still the Academy car underneath all of the additional upgrades they've had at the end of each year. They'll have upgraded their car for the last 3 years to get it into this 310R spec, and they've got now 155 horsepower under their right foot. They've got a limited slip differential, which is one of the big differentiators between this and the 270R class that we're also seeing a little bit later. Yeah, there's plenty of experience out there, multiple champions on this grid, and a very big grid of cars as well. It's a really, really popular series, a really good balance of car to driver performance, and the chassis, it really works well with the Avon ZZRs that we run in this championship, and they're setting some spectacular times here around this Donington National 2-mile circuit.
So it looks like the barrier repair is almost complete there at the chicane. We get ready for the second race of the weekend for the Motul Caterham 7 310R Championship, and full credit to Hugo Bush, 5th in the points coming into this weekend, who took his first win of the season yesterday, joining Jack Sayles, Lars Alexander Hoffman, Taylor O'Flanagan and Harry Cook, who are here this weekend. Also seen wins for Tom Willis and Dominic Mansberger earlier this year, who are not out at this weekend's meeting. Their championship is over for 2023. So Lars Hoffman with 4 wins coming into this weekend. Jack Sayles has 6. And the grid reads as follows for our next race based on the result of yesterday's race. Hugo Bush, number 22 on pole. Harry Cook, number 9 alongside him. It's a couple of tenths in it at the end of yesterday's race. Lars Hoffman and Jack Sayles provisionally on row 2. And Taylor O'Flanagan, a mistake at the chicane when he went across the gravel, cost him in yesterday's race. Starts alongside Andrew Murgatroyd in the number 84 car. Philip Bianchi from Malta, number 92, on row 4 alongside Graham McDonald, the former Caterham Cars CEO. Completing the top 10, number 50, Wes Payne, and 71, Alan Cooper. The 6th row will be number 43, Alan Curtis. He starts alongside the 15 of David Yates. Had a gravelly moment at the old hairpin in yesterday's race, and a retirement from one of the 3 races at Snetterton has harmed his points total as well. Row 7, number 28, Ryan Lovett, alongside 55 of Harry Eyre. And then on row 8, number 14, Fraser Jones, alongside 16, Steve Metcalf. Row 9, number 8, Darrell Cresswell, and 77, Kevin Cooper. The 10th row, Ben Lopez Appleton, number 5, and 85 of Robert Bullen. Row 11 is 68 Chris Welch and 38 of Jeff Price. Then Tim Steele, the 53, and 33 Ryan Errol. Row 13, 99 of Michael Curley, had a half spin on the first corner yesterday. Starts alongside 52 of Pete Wales. Then we've got 65 Duncan Cook alongside 98 James Hall. Row 15 is number 10 Stephen Lancaster and 64 Paul Herndon. 12 Ron Mounsey and 49 of Henry Williams, who ended up in the gravel yesterday at the chicane. On row 16, Matt Shepherd also failed to finish yesterday's race. Carnan Brady, he will start on row 17 alongside Johnny Jarrett, number 27, who failed to start yesterday in the Oakmere Racing Cup. So he will hopefully get some laps in today. That's your grid then for Motul Caterham 7 310R Championship, racing over 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20-minute race, and they'll have 3 over the course of this weekend. We had one yesterday, so we've got 2 more today, including this one. So 20 minutes, 40 minutes of track action to try and sort out 2nd and 3rd in the championship. And with between Taylor O'Flanagan and Lars Alexander Hoffman, all the cards lie with Hoffman at the moment, but Taylor O'Flanagan, his yellow machine, can do it. Ones to watch out for: Matt Shepherd had, we saw him going across the gravel. He had an A-frame failure, which moves him to the back, and he's back here as a guest driver just for the final couple of rounds of this series, and good to see him out there, and he's hoping for a much better result out there. But watch for him in his yellow machinery, see whether he can move forward. And didn't see whether Jack Sayles was out there. We'll have to look out to see whether that lead car, is he on the grid?
It's a white car with a green cage. I think that's him there, possibly. A bit difficult to tell in the glare of the sun.
It looks about a white and green cage in 4th place, so yeah, he's obviously happy that he wants to go racing, maybe his final race weekend for a little bit, so thinking, yep, need to get out there and get involved, and why not? He's had a great season so far, and there's a little bit of risk involved in that. Obviously he doesn't want to get penalty points, which would then obviously affect his championship and could detrimentally lose it. But it's Hugo Bush who's going to be lining up then on that pole position. Great to see him get a win finally. It's been close there or thereabouts most of the season, so he finally ticks that box. Harry Cook has been close a number of times and also won an event out there, so good to see those two on the front row ahead of Hoffman and Jack Sayles, our championship contenders from yesterday. Jack Sayles just clinching it though in the TN Accountancy white alongside the Motul coloured Hoffman there. Taylor O'Flanagan seeing whether he can overhaul Hoffman. He's got to get in front, he's got to put some significant points between him and Hoffman to get that done. And then Murgatroyd, who's been there or thereabouts again every time he's joined us. He's just not done a full campaign, but he's up there 6th place on the grid ahead of Bianchi, another driver who's not done a full season, followed by Graham McDonald. Great to see him out there in starting 8th place today. So who is going to make the best start then? Second 20-minute race for the Motul sponsored Caterham 310R Championship.
Hugo Bush, the grey and red car on pole position alongside Harry Cook, black car with a bit of red trim. The course car pulling into line at the back. Just you can see Matt Shepherd there, the yellow car, failed to finish yesterday, lining up towards the back of the field. Hopefully Johnny Jarrett is there as well, who failed to start yesterday in the Oakmere run car. Looks like everybody is into line. We get the all clear from the marshals. The red lights come on and the revs rise in the 1600cc engines. Away we go with the Motul Caterham 7 310R Championship. Bush gets away well, so does Taylor O'Flanagan, the yellow car down the inside. Lars Hoffman jinks across to the outside to try and defend, trying to go around the outside of Harry Cook, and he's done so up into 2nd place. Murgatroyd goes side by side with the yellow machine of O'Flanagan. Everybody's made it through Redgate A-OK by the look of things, side by side almost to the lead, but Hugo Bush just about holding off a very determined looking Lars Hoffman in that 2nd place. Jack Sayles has dropped away a few spots. He's down to about 7th or 8th place.
Yeah, now he's side by side going through Old Hairpin. Not a comfortable place to be. Remember, he's kind of going in with that mindset of, I've got to be a little bit careful. I saw David Yates deep in the field having a bad start that time, and cars having to scatter left and right. So David Yates in his Matt Blythe Motorsport car will be seeing whether he can fight back through. But it's Hoffman who leads ahead of Bush as they head up into McLean's this time. Cook is fighting away with Taylor O'Flanagan. Murgatroyd comes next, and then Jack Sayles did manage to defend off that move from the car behind him as they went through the Old Hairpin that time.
Down the exhibition straight it is then. Lars Hoffman continues to lead. My voice is running out already, showing how frantic the racing has been so far this weekend. Hugo Bush round the outside. It's 3 wide for 3rd place. A lock up there from O'Flanagan. He did that yesterday. A big lock up further back in there as well. That's the number 16 car of Steve Metcalf, I think. Bush got the lead through the chicane. Hoffman back around the outside. Murgatroyd up to 3rd place. Then O'Flanagan, 3rd in the points coming into this weekend, is in 4th position as they head round Redgate for the 2nd time. Harry Cook is 5th, then Graham McDonald, Jack Sayles down to P7.
Yeah, Jack Sayles definitely having to be a little bit defensive, isn't he? And you can see immediately, we've never seen Jack Sayles that far down the order this early on, especially losing all those positions. But he really does have to be a little bit careful out there. Graham McDonald just ahead of him. There's the recovering David Yates, got Wes Payne just in front of him. So there's the number 15. A little bit of grass being kicked up there. So again, it's easy to drift away at the end of the Old Hairpin. It's off camber, really fast right-hand sweeper. If you don't completely get that apex, you lose out. But Hoffman leads this field then. He is in good position to solidify that 2nd place ahead of Hugo Bush. Murgatroyd's moved up into that 3rd place. Taylor O'Flanagan comes next. Cook's drifted away a little bit in this early phase.
Round coppice they go, and there's the green car. That's the former Caterham CAO, Graham the Boss McDonald, as we call him. Hoffman just about has the lead, with Bush trying to get down the outside. Murgatroyd's going for the inside. He could get P2 here. Yes, he's done so in the blue car, the number 84. Getting a little bit crossed up there on the exit of the chicane. They'll start to fan out once again, not weaving about as much as the Caterham 7 UK Championship cars were earlier on, although Taylor O'Flanagan decides to. He's going for the inside to try to take third. There's Sales on the inside, the back of this group, battling with Alan Cooper. 8 of them together for the lead, starting to break away just a little from Yates, who's recovered to 9th, and Wesley Payne in that almost pearlescent liveried car rounding out the top 10.
McDonald wheel banging there with Cook as they went around Redgate that time through, but they all ended up pointing in the right direction. But Cook definitely didn't look like he appreciated that little bit of contact there, a bit of a squeeze as they went through. Arriere here following on behind Lovett in the sort of green flamed car going up through Schwantz curve, and he looks like he might lose out of position to Harrier though. He's up on the inside. It's Hugo Bush though pushing to the inside of McLean's this time. Hoffman has to sit into that second place. They've been battling throughout the course of this year. Taylor O'Flanagan now on the outside of Murgatroyd, but Murgatroyd will be able to defend onto the inside of Coppice, but that will slow him down slightly out onto the straight. You see that little gap develop, so Taylor O'Flanagan will be looking to see whether he can go down the inside. Remember, the outside line's not really been working well. See whether Taylor O'Flanagan can reverse that. He's got cars in front of him, which is going to help him in his pursuit. Hoffman does take that lead, but no, Murgatroyd still manages to put his car back into that third place.
So Lars Hoffman it is who leads the way then as they cross the line, looking for win number 5 of the season, the German. Here comes Hugo Bush on the inside though to try and retake the lead, and he does so on the run down into Redgate Corner. Here's Harry Cook having a look at the inside on Taylor O'Flanagan. Harry Cook, who had a win on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit earlier this season, takes O'Flanagan out well wide there. He's up into 4th position. Forceful driving from the number 9, the man from Wimborne. O'Flanagan goes down to P5. 6 behind them is McDonald. It's Alan Cooper 7th. Jack Sales just keeping a watching brief from that 8th place. He knows he's already done enough to secure the 310R Championship of this year, his first Caterham title in 9 seasons. The next group is headed up by Payne, Yates, Philip Bianchi is in there as well, and Alan Curtis, the 43. But it's still Hoffman who leads the way from Bush. Harry Cook now going for 3rd on the inside of Andrew Murgatroyd as they go into Coppice. He's got the tighter line. Murgatroyd goes out wide, he takes the place away.
Yeah, if Hoffman wins this, it doesn't matter what the Taylor Flanagan does, that will be solidified 2nd place. So Hoffman being in the lead of this race does take away the opportunity for Hoffman to try and take that 3rd, but like I say, it's a long shot anyway. But Hugo Bush, let's concentrate on the actual race, because Hugo Bush is in the lead as they head down. David Yates is the next man, who's Jack Sales is hoping doesn't manage to catch up in his wing mirror. There's quite a significant little gap back to there, so it'll take a little while for him to come across, even if he has got the speed to do so. Hoffman though in the lead. Hugo Bush got Cook down the inside. Taylor Flanagan sits in that 4th place, and then it's Murgatroyd, McDonald, it's Cooper's in there, and Jack Sales just sitting on the rear of this pack watching everyone do, and see, he'll work out later on whether he wants to try and move a little bit further forward depending on how the race pans out.
Full credit to Johnny Jarrett, who's up to P21, having started from the back of this 34 car field, and we're only 4.5 laps into this race so far for the Mossel Caterham 310R Championship. Here comes Harry Cook having a look on the inside. He's drew into 2nd place behind Lars Hoffman. Can he get through at Schwantz Curve? Yes, he can. Harry Cook takes the lead in the black number 9 car, the Williams Motorsport run car, chased by Lars Hoffman. Bush in 3rd place, then O'Flanagan, Murgatroyd, McDonald, Cooper and Sales. No change in the order behind the 2 leaders, the 3 leaders there. Here comes Hoffman again to the outside. Which side is Hugo Bush going to go? He's looking for his 2nd win of the season. Scored his 1st at this level yesterday. Hoffman holds them off as they go into the chicane. He's retaken the lead from Harry Cook.
Absolutely denied any run that Hugo Bush had down the outside there. He said, no, I'm going to come across and prevent you from using that extra speed. But Cook, after 2nd place yesterday, he wants to go one better, doesn't he? He's in the lead currently. Hugo Bush looking down the inside of Hoffman, so Hoffman's dropped a couple of places in that course of those couple of corners. Taylor Flanagan up next with Murgatroyd following through. Cook won a race this year already, but close, and nearly at the last corner he was ahead at Thruxton and then got taken into the tyre wall with someone else at the last corner. I know he was very frustrated by that, but he leads this 310R pack of 8 cars there, I think, in that lead group. Then a little bit of a gap back to Payne now last time across the line. So yes, it is Payne, I think, ahead of David Yates. So they're trying to work together to see whether they can do anything about this. While out front they are battling, that's going to cost them time, so it will give a chance for that following group. You can see they are catching in, I think, this chase group of another 6 cars that are going to could join that, tailed by Harrier just at the moment. We love it in those green flames just ahead of him.
That's Ryan Lovett coming under fire from Harriet for P13. Here's the lead battle. Cody 3 abreast here into the chicane. Hugo Bush up the inside retakes the lead. He always seems to there, and then Lars Hoffman gets in on the Wheatcroft straight. Cook in third, then O'Flanagan. The first 3 breaking away very slightly. Hoffman goes out to the left, right as we look at it, as Harry Cook goes to the outside on Hugo Bush. Has that slipstreaming work? Can he carry the speed around the outside? Maybe not quite. Hugo Bush keeps the line. Hoffman cuts back in now to the inside. It's 2 wheels on the grass. That could have been dicey there. He's lucky not to get sideways, as he would have spun and taken the rest of the lead pack with him if he'd gone around just there. Here comes Alan Cooper on the inside as well into the old hairpin. He's diving at Andrew Murgatroyd. Gets crossed up. Ooh, that could have been a bit dodgy. Andrew Murgatroyd has to go wide to avoid him. The loss of momentum has allowed Graham McDonald up the inside now as they run up towards Schwantzkirch. Jack Sales lifted off the throttle, I think, there and decided to keep out of it.
Definitely, but I've seen he's lost a wing already, so he's done a little bit of contact there. Something's happened because he's lost that ring. We saw someone getting a wing run over, so maybe that's Jack Sales or the remainder of his wing from last time through. But you can see there in that TN Accountancy sponsored car that it is usually loose. It's got a wheel exposed at the rear. Won't slow him down. In fact, it sometimes helps with a bit of tyre cooling. But here we come down into the chicane again. Hoffman to the outside. Hugo Bush is in his wheel tracks. It's Cook alongside on the inside. That might be the first time that we've seen the outside line kind of work for Hoffman there. Taylor O'Flanagan in that 4th place. Murgatroyd follows on. Graham McDonald and having that fight with Alan Cooper through old hairpin. Jack Sales seeing if he can do anything about it in his 3-winged car. As Cook comes down the inside then. Hoffman holding on round the outside of Hugo Bush. Hugo Bush is not willing to give this one up yet, and Taylor O'Flanagan's headed forward, so this could reverse those opportunities for that 3rd place in the championship. But whilst Hoffman still remains up there, still looking good for him in 2nd.
5 of them absolutely together down the Craner curves. Bush and Hoffman side by side. The second, it's Harry Cook who leads the way in the black number 9 car. Less than a second covered these 5 at the line. It's Wes Payne, incidentally, in the second group, if you like, who's got the fastest lap of the race, just in a 1:17.208. So lapping a few tenths quicker than our leaders. Everybody, though, lapping in the 1:17s last time around. Still Hoffman, who's got the lead away from Harry Cook once again. Every lap the lead changes, usually up in the run up towards McLean through Schwantzkirch. Seems to be the common passing place in this race, as is the chicane. Here comes Harry Cook on the inside. 3rd place is Hugo Bush, and here comes Andrew Murgatroyd up the inside on Bush and O'Flanagan. We go 3 wide. Harry Cook's got the lead back again. It's O'Flanagan, I think, up into 3rd position.
Evaporated gap between that lead group and the trailing group now, so we've got a group of about 14-15 cars, I think, all nose to tail as they head out as we just reached the halfway point. So they spent the first half of the race spreading out just a little bit, and they've decided they would now come and bring it all together as Jack Sales just gets past McDonald. He sees the cars coming behind, sees Wes Payne coming up rapidly into the rear view mirror, and thinks, right, I'm going to get up front and try and ping off the front and save my bacon again. I don't want to get involved in any battles. Cook heads the battles, though, ahead of Hoffman, Taylor O'Flanagan, Bush at this stage of the race.
Along past the old Starkey's Bridge up towards Schwantzkirch. Once again, Cook and Hoffman go side by side once more. They swap places on every lap of this Caterham 7.310R Championship race. So far it is the Mottl car that is back in front, the number 70 of Hoffman. Taylor O'Flanagan shadowing in that 3rd position. Harry Cook shadowing Lars Hoffman in turn. Right up with them is Hugo Bush, the winner yesterday, his first ever 310R victory. Down the straight they come, they start to spread out. Harry Cook's going for the inside. O'Flanagan defending the inside from Hugo Bush further back for 3rd place as Harry Cook retakes the lead once again.
Absolutely, and the kind of little bit of cooperation at the front there. They're definitely doing a little bit of leapfrogging, as we'd call it, where they let go Taylor O'Flanagan, seeing whether he can get down the inside of Hoffman. I think he's managed it, so is he going to be able to outbrake him into Redgate? No, Hoffman's got a good speed around the outside. In fact, it's sort of late on the brakes there, so he's going to get hung out to dry a little bit by Cook onto the AstroTurf. That will leave the door open for Taylor O'Flanagan. Cook comes out wide, lets Taylor O'Flanagan take the inside line. That really sort of balked Hoffman. Taylor O'Flanagan's going to find himself on the dusty patch and will have to get back into 3rd place. They're all sort of getting back into that line. Jack Sales moving forward. They've kind of taken Wes Payne with them, so we've got a 9-car group for the lead now, but there is a gap behind Wes as I think it's David Yates and following along. I think it's probably Harry Eyre as well with them.
Alan Curtis in that group as well, a little bit further back, but it is still Hoffman who heads the pack. Hugo Bush trying to go for third place. Here comes Alan Cooper, leans across on Andrew Murgatroyd, who's got the inside line for Coppice and goes through. That's the battle for P5. They've got Sales and McDonald just behind them. Wes Payne trying to join in as well to make this a 9-car train now for the lead. Cook goes to the inside. O'Flanagan jinks out, goes to the outside. Is he going to get round there? Hoffman's going to be swallowed up. Yes, he's down to third. Cook takes the lead. O'Flanagan up into second place. So O'Flanagan, one of the few drivers who can make the outside line work.
Yep, he moved late and it didn't really give Hoffman a chance to do anything about it. Hoffman's going to see whether he can return the favour. Hugo Bush chooses him as his towing partner to get down into Redgate. That's going to move Hoffman to the front. He does sweep across and around the outside, so he was able to take that wider line. Hugo Bush also got a head of steam around the outside of Redgate, which might see him ahead of Cook as they go down through the Craner curves this time through. But Hoffman in the Motul-sponsored car there out front in this Motul-sponsored championship is doing all the right things and all the right moves to try and solidify his second place. Taylor Flanagan trying everything he can to try and hold on and see whether he can keep that dream of second alive. Jack Sales just holding on to the rear of this group, saying I'm keeping out of trouble and you guys can carry on battling, as Murgatroyd now goes side by side. I think that was with Alan Cooper, who's injecting himself in this battle late on. Another driver who we've seen right at the front and hasn't had his win yet, and maybe he's looking to see whether he can do that today.
Classic Lotus colours are number 20 of number 55 rather, Harry Eyre. He's just got ahead there of this battle for 10th position past Alan Curtis in the 43. Also in there David Yates and Philip Bianchi. The number 92 has dropped back a little as Taylor O'Flanagan goes for the inside, and he takes the lead of a race for the first time this weekend. Had 2 wins at Thruxton earlier this year, looking for win number 3. The yellow machine hits the front.
Yeah, multiple Caterham champion as well in his own right, as is Hoffman. And so, yeah, like all these drivers in here know how to construct a championship, put them together. Hoffman to the outside then. Is he going to try that sweep across? Nope. Taylor Flanagan's going to tuck it to the inside and just balk that speed. We've not seen too many sort of undercuts coming out of Redgate. Doesn't seem to work. And with the new tarmac that's down here at Donington, maybe it's just sort of subdued that move a little bit. Cook's going to make an advantage down the inside. They go contact with Hoffman. Big contact as they went down the Craner curves that time. He got bumped on the curb, and Murgatroyd's caught up in that as well. His car's coming across the track, just about managing to avoid. Well done, bravo to the drivers. Nasty accident there, but that is our Hoffman and Cook. Yeah, Cook was squeezed onto the curb and it just bounced his car wide. Very scary moment there, but everyone back under control. See whether Hoffman can get going. I think there was significant damage to one of his corners though, so he probably will be stuck there. We might well see a safety car or a red flag, given that we've only 4 minutes of this race to go.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes left. I wouldn't be surprised to see a red flag there with Hoffman's car on the track, but I don't know about the drivers. My heart was in my mouth there as Harry Cook rather charged down the grass there. I thought he was going to come straight back across at the old hairpin and T-bone somebody. That was very, very lucky indeed that he got the car stopped on the grass and on the edge of the track. So it is O'Flanagan that leads. Bush has come through into second place. It's now Alan Cooper third, Jack Sales up to fourth, and Wes Payne is in fifth. Graham McDonald's dropped back into the second group there. There's just over 4 minutes to go, and the race continuing at the moment. Alan Cooper's got the fastest lap. There's yellow flags at the Craner curves, of course, so no passing there. Alan Cooper, I think, just got the move done there on Hugo Bush before the yellow flag zone. Now, is Hoffman's car still there? No, it's not. He's got it moved. So the race does continue. There's Graham McDonald ahead of the second group, ahead of Harry Eyre. David Yates is in there as well, Ryan Lovett, and Wes Payne was caught up in that too because he's dropped back.
Yeah, I can see Murgatroyd's car just stuck there on the inside. He burst a radiator as part of that and getting caught up in that issue, so that's his car out the way. Wings out wide, so a nasty incident there coming down through Craner curves. Glad to see everyone still pointing in the right direction and the race up and running. So obviously Hoffman did manage to get that car manoeuvred back out on track. There is the curtailed Murgatroyd car. You can see the steam coming off there as the punctured radiator. He will continue on later on today as they get a new radiator pumped on that. Taylor Flanagan, nice little gap though ahead of Hugo Bush, and it's Alan Cooper in that third place. Then Jack Sales finds himself in fourth by want of the attrition rate, but Taylor Flanagan doing what he needs to do now then to try and see whether he can still take that second in the championship with a Hoffman DNF, and he'll have to start from the rear of this field for the race 3 later on today. It could be a dream still alive there.
There were yellow flags out at the chicane there. There's somebody in the gravel on the outside. I think it might be Henry Williams, number 49. Here's a replay of that incident at the Craner curves. Harry Cook up the inside. There wasn't room on the inside. Wallop into the rear corner of Lars Hoffman, sending him spinning around. And then this is the scariest moment, because Harry Cook straight across. It's a good job that gravel slowed him down, because that car charging down the grass, he was so close to T-boning somebody as he came back on.
Well observed by the drivers coming around old hairpin there to see he was going there. Given there's Jeff Price then in just stuck in the gravel. So again, 2 minutes. He's in quite a prone position. He can't get it completely beached there. You can see these big deep gravel traps here at Donington.
That's at Redgate, I think.
Is it Redgate? Yeah. So turn 1, if that's the case, and he's not going to get out of there with 2 minutes left to go. So there'll be definitely more double waved yellows as they head in this time through. Hugo Bush currently heads then as they go through this time against Taylor O'Flanagan. Double wave yellows again once more. I think, like you say, there is someone in the gravel on the exit of the chicane as well. So the cars kind of everywhere at the moment. Remember, there's double wave, there could be yellows in here. In fact, Taylor O'Flanagan has to move out of that manoeuvre because of the yellow flags as they head through turn 1 this time through. We'll see there is Jeff Price. Marshall's desperately trying to push it. So well done the drivers for slowing down, seeing that. They get the green flag as they go down through the old hairpin, down towards old hairpin this time through. And it's currently Hugo Bush that leads it. And it's going to be touch and go. I think they've got 1 minute and 14 left. There's still a couple of laps left in the books to go to see how we're going to end this 3-turn championship.
Well, it's certainly a chaotic race this has turned into. Bush and O'Flanagan now side by side ahead of Cooper, Sales and Wes Payne. I thought he'd dropped back, but he is still up there. Apologies there in P5. O'Flanagan's got the lead back again as they go through McLean's. Now, will there still be yellows out at the Roberts chicane this time? They're coming around to start their final lap. Taylor O'Flanagan looking for win number 3 of his season. Hugo Bush looking for his second win of the season and of this weekend. And Alan Cooper up there, the number 71, looking for his first win. He's in 6th place in the points coming into this weekend. Jack Sales is there in P4 as dust being kicked up on the outside. There's Henry Williams' car backwards in the gravel. That's the second time he's ended up in the gravel at the chicane. It's on the other side of the circuit this time as we go into the last lap, and Alan Cooper's not holding back here. He's lunging at the leaders. Here he comes down the inside into Redgate. Bush has held the lead in the 22. The yellow flag has been withdrawn there at Redgate, so he's able to have a go. Cooper not quite able to get ahead of O'Flanagan.
There was still a yellow flag into the chicane, but it was right at the entrance to the chicane, so actually as long as he got past on the slipstream down, which is I think what we saw from Taylor O'Flanagan there, it was okay to do that manoeuvre. But Hugo Bush has come out on top as the clock ticks to 0. Taylor O'Flanagan look up the inside. Schwartz, that's an awkward place to try and get by as well. Hugo Bush is in the outside of Schwartz, but that does mean the inside of McLean's, and there's Chase Group also still battling there with Graham McDonald, who's faded just a bit, but Taylor O'Flanagan is out front of Hugo Bush, who's just trying to fend off from Cooper. Jack Sales, our champion-elect, in that 4th place now, and following him through is Wes Payne in that pearlescent coloured car, so great result for him if he can keep it going.
Here they come then down the exhibition straight towards the checkered flag as they come through the chicane. This time they start weaving about. Hugo Bush is going to go for a last corner lunge up the inside. He's going to try and get the inside line away on O'Flanagan. Can he turn it back? He goes over the gravel. It's going to be a photo finish between the two of them. Cooper's coming up as well. It's going to be a photo finish between 4 of them. Look at this. It's going to be, I think, Taylor O'Flanagan. Jack Sales comes through. O'Flanagan got it by 0.136 of a second. Jack Sales through to 2nd place over the line to confirm his title, and Alan Cooper completes the podium. Bad luck, Hugo Bush just went a little bit too far there into the chicane. Somebody else on the grass. Is that Hoffman in the background? Yes, it is. He's still trying to corkscrew his way around. Bad luck as well to Harry Eyre. He got a 5-second penalty, presumably for track limits, dropping into P11. But it's Taylor O'Flanagan picks up his 3rd win of the season by 0.136 of a second. Jack Sales beat Alan Cooper for 2nd by 25 1,000ths of a second. Then Bush 4th, Payne 5th, Alan Curtis in 6th place, McDonald, Yates, Lovett and Bianchi rounding out the top 10. What a chaotic race.
It was crazy, wasn't it? There was a bit of everything there, a little bit of a nasty manoeuvre, a nasty moment halfway through, and cars sort of littered everywhere, but Jack Sales kept his powder dry, just kept watching until all heck broke loose around him, and he took that 2nd place. You only need to be in that 2nd place once over the line.
So Taylor O'Flanagan wins it by 0.136 of a second ahead of our champion Jack Sales. Alan Cooper in 3rd, 0.025 of a second between 2nd and 3rd places, and only 2 tenths back was Hugo Bush after that mistake at the chicane for 4th. Alan Cooper getting the fastest lap as well. Wes Payne a good 5th place ahead of Alan Curtis, then Graham McDonald, David Yates, Ryan Lovett and Philip Bianchi rounding up the top 10. Harry Eyre getting a 5-second penalty, which dropped him down to P11 ahead of Ben Lopez, Appleton, Fraser Jones, Matt Shepherd from the back of the grid up to P14, and Johnny Jarrett from the back as well after failing to start yesterday, got through to 16th place. Harry Cook did keep going in his damaged car after the incident. He ended up in P15, good recovery from him. Lars Hoffmann, did he make it home? Yes, in 29th place. Only 3 retirements. Jeff Price came into the pits after his spin at Redgate. And of course we lost Andrew Murgatroyd and Henry Williams.
Well, quite an exciting 310R race. We've got another race for them a little bit later on today. As we can see, the track cars just going out to make sure that it's swept up and nice and clean, ready for our next race out on track. But the cars will be coming into Parc Fermé then, so Sam will be there to listen to all the stories from that eventful 310R race. Let's go and hear from our drivers.
What an incredible race that was, and you can probably hear Taylor's fans behind me. They are ecstatic for him. I could actually hear them in the suites up here before Taylor came in. But we'll jump in there and grab a word with Taylor, who will be very happy. But what a great race! I mean, a bit eventful. We're sorry for Lars, Harry Cook, and Andrew Murgatroyd, but look at this chap. Taylor, congratulations. I'll let you go and see your family. Oh, you can go to them now then, yeah. Look at that. They're so happy for him. He drove brilliantly. That was a fantastic race. And did you see all the carnage that happened behind you?
Yeah, well, I saw it after the old hairpin. I just saw there was a big gap or something. I was like, okay, now it's go time. But I didn't see what actually happened. Hopefully everybody's okay. I assume a couple of cars are out. But yeah, from then it was just concentration until the end, and they started to catch. Then lots of yellow flags. It was, yeah, pretty hectic. But yeah, buzzing. Super happy.
Buzzing. I mean, it gave you a bit of breathing space actually then, didn't it, with the cars going off?
Yeah, a little bit. And then it's always a funny one under yellows, how much is slow, because the packs start catching you up. So it's yeah, obviously got to be super careful, everybody out there. But yeah, amazing, super happy.
Excellent, well done, congratulations. Right, where's Jack? Because this means, Jack, I think this now means provisional 310R champion, and congratulations on second place. Woohoo!
Well, that was mad, wasn't it?
I mean, were you trying to take it easy on that one?
Well, I was just trying to stay out of trouble, and I think everyone else was trying to get into trouble, and I just let everyone crash in front of me, and yeah, we nearly won.
I know,
nearly won.
That would have been, well, maybe later.
I was driving like an idiot for most of the race. I had an awful start, made loads of mistakes, but hey ho, it doesn't matter.
You're on the podium, and you're champion.
Happy days.
What, provisional champion.
Yeah, provisional champion. Get excluded for something now.
No. Are you taking part in race 3?
I don't think so, but I'll think about it.
Okay. Oh, we hope to see you back in race 3. Right, where's Alan? Could we have a quick word with you, please? On the podium, 3rd place. Fantastic drive.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time coming this year. The Alton part was great, but since then it's just been downhill. So yeah, great to finally be back on the podium.
Yeah, you've had a lot of close moments, haven't you? You've been right up there with the pack, the front pack.
Yeah, not always there, but just never close enough. So just hilarious. Jack still picked me over the line the last lap, but yeah, he's champion this year.
It was so close, though.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was great. It was a really good race. So.
Well, congratulations, well done. So we've got some highlights for you now, and then we will be back out for some more Caterham racing in a minute.
Thank you, Sam. Let's have a look at some highlights of that very eventful Motor Caterham 310R race. It was Lars Hoffmann, Harry Cook and Hugo Busch scrapping away in the early stages for the victory. On stage, Hoffmann getting a couple of wheels onto the grass coming down the Craner curves. Alan Cooper, a bit of a mistake at the old hairpin, sending Andrew Murgatroyd running out wide. As Hoffmann and Cook continued to duel for the lead, with Taylor O'Flanagan shadowing them. The 98 car bouncing out wide at one point there. That was Matthew Hall further back in the pack, but it got busier and busier towards the front of the field, with Taylor O'Flanagan getting involved in the lead battle in the second half of the race, eventually taking the lead down into the chicane from the German Lars Hoffmann. It's Harry Cook trying to defend that 3rd place in the number 9. And then it all came apart with Cook and Hoffmann collided going through the Craner curves. Andrew Murgatroyd getting caught up as well, taking all 3 out of contention. Harry Cook lucky not to slide back on in front of the pack, almost catching Wes Payne there as he slid back on. Hugo Bush and Taylor O'Flanagan entered the final corner side by side. Hugo Bush a little bit over enthusiastic and ended up going over the curves and into the gravel at the chicane as they went through for the final time. And on the run to the line, Jack Sales almost lucked in for victory as Alan Cooper came swarming past as well. It was nearly 3 wide over the line. O'Flanagan just hanging on for his 3rd victory of the season. One or two cars being towed here. I think that's Andrew Murgatroyd's car just being towed back as we get ready for our next race, which is the Morph My Caterham Graduates Championship, the Sigma 150 and Sigmax Championships. The Sigmax cars you can recognise by the blue logos on our graphics. They're the slightly less powerful category with the Ford Sigmax engines. The Caterham Graduates Championship celebrating its 25th anniversary in 2023, originally formed for graduates of the old Caterham Scholarship, which preceded the Caterham Academy back in the 1990s. The championship this year in the Sigma 150 division has been a tale of 2 Harrys, and they occupy the front row here. The grid here set by the 2nd fastest time for each driver in qualifying yesterday. It's Harry Kramer in pole position, the championship leader, alongside Harry Senior, the reigning champion. 2nd row, yesterday's winner, Will Stillwell, relative newcomer to Caterham Racing, starts alongside the first of the Sigmax cars. That's young gun Thomas Horton. Row 3, 64, Amanda Anderson, the leading lady of Caterham Racing, alongside Doug Christie in car number 67. Good 4th place for him yesterday. Row 4, number 50, James McCall, and 61, Angus McLean. We've already seen him out in the Caterham 7 UK Championship earlier. Row 5, 2nd of the Sigmaxes, that's Steve Arnell, alongside 83 of Jonathan Ems. On the 6th row of the grid, 101, Paul Fielder starts alongside 112 of Andrew Whitton. Then on row 7 we've got 58, Rob Warner, and the leader of the points in Sigmax, that is Dan Livingston, had an off on the first corner of yesterday's race but recovered. Row 8, number 80, Fraser Riddington, alongside 3, Ollie Smith, another man we've already seen out in action today. Row 9, 34, Neil Evans, and 15 of Kim Raymond. 10th row, 54, John Curry, and 96 in his Sigmax, Danny Scarborough. The 11th row is the club chairman, Matt Willoughby, local man from Newark in Nottinghamshire, in the number 82 car. Hopefully 33, Gareth Cordy, is there. He blew his engine in yesterday's race and we saw a red flag due to an oil slick at the Craner curves, which sent several cars spinning. Row 12, number 9, Martin Gleach, and 30 of Steve Evans. 169, Paul Vokes on row 13 with Rob Appleton for company in number 7, and 32, Ian Anderson will start from the back of the grid. That's your lineup then for the Morph My Caterham Graduates. Coming up after this, we've got the Mission Motorsport Caterham 7 270R Championship and 3 more races after that before our lunch break. We've got the Caterham Academy, the Adrian Flux sponsored Caterham Academy in their 2 groups. They had their qualifying yesterday evening. We've got another race for the graduates as well, the Sigma 135 category for the slightly less powerful machinery. And we start up again after lunch with the Vertex Caterham Road Sport Championship. Their championship already won by Ben Timmons. He's off playing with the 270Rs now. But next up we have the Morph My Caterham Graduates Championship. Morph My Graphics, their title sponsor for the first time this year, and we thank them for their support. A new tyre supplier this year as well, now on Toyo tyres as opposed to the Yokohamas of previous years, so new lap records to be set across the course of this weekend as well. So is it going to be a tale of 2 Harrys once again? Will Stillwell I'll say that again. Is Will Stillwell going to upset the establishment once again? He had a win on his debut at Snetterton on a one-off appearance earlier this year. Then he came out again at Croft, scored a hat-trick in Sigma 150. Other than that, it's been the 2 Harrys all the way, with the exception of one race at Thruxton, which was won by Amanda Anderson. While in the Sigmax category, Thomas Horton's had a few wins since his debut at Snetterton, but he isn't scoring points, I believe. So it's Dan Livingston who is on top in their championship ahead of Steve Arnell and Gareth Cordy. With Matt Willoughby's had a few wins as well. He sits 4th in the championship.
Yeah, Dan Livingston ended up in the gravel on the first corner, didn't he? Had to fight all the way back, didn't have a stellar performance, 17th on grid but 3rd in class. But Steve Arnell was significantly further up the field, and it was Horton that was sticking it to the front group of 150s and keeping involved there and in his Sigmax. Will Stillwell coming out on top yesterday though, but obviously the way they do qualifying in the graduates, it's the second fastest time that signifies the starting position in your, second fastest time in your qualifying that signifies your starting position for this race too. So it's reset with the two Harrys out front and Stillwell just following on, but he didn't look happy sitting in third, fourth place yesterday, did he? So I imagine he's going to be trying to push forward again, see whether he can do the double.
I think I spotted Gareth Corley's black and green car on the grid, so that's good to see that he's repaired after his blow up in yesterday's race. We had oil all over the Craner curves, which sent the majority of the field spinning around, but the race was red flagged, and thankfully there wasn't much major damage.
Yeah, we got away with that one, I think, and it was, like I say, lucky they all sort of spinning in different directions.
Yes, there he is, the black car with the green cage, just in front of the Brawn GP lookalike of Martin Gleisch.
Absolutely. So 20 minutes of action then in this this second race for them, of a 25-minute race, sorry, I think it's is showing on my timing screen. So it's a slightly longer race in this second one before the Morph My 150 and Sig Maxes.
Yes, the second race is always the slightly longer one in the Caterham Graduates Championship. Give the drivers a bit more track time, a bit more bang for their buck.
So we say that the sort of opening 5 minutes is a kind of interesting time. This race is going to have a middle 5 minutes, isn't it, before we get to that final end of the race period where they'll start thinking about the more of the tactics and see where they are in the pack and in the group and seeing what's going to happen. Spread out a little bit yesterday before coming together kind of late in that race, and then the oil slick prematurely ended their action out on track. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. But yeah, let's see whether the two Harrys can regain their crowns at the top of the field.
Well, Shree and Anderson from the back of the grid here, the number 32 Sig Max. He unfortunately pulled into the pits early in yesterday's race, so looking for better fortunes here. Harry Kramer, the all-red car, in pole position. Harry Senior in blue and black alongside him. A change of livery for him mid-season this year, was in red and black. Second row, Will Stillwell is the black car with the yellow cage, and we've got the white car with the red cage is young gun Thomas Horton, making the move from saloon car racing this season. Amanda Anderson in the orange car on row 3 alongside the all-black of number 67 Doug Christie. James McCall in his turquoise car starts alongside Angus McLean in purple and red. We've already seen him out today in the 7 UK Championship, one of a couple of drivers with 2 cars here this weekend. Paul Vokes got 2 cars as well, and Ollie Smith, who's further back on this grid, in number 3. So fair play to them for their commitments. The revs beginning to rise, then everybody in position for this 25-minute race. The red light is on, and off they go. Here we go, down towards the first corner. Harry Kramer gets away well, so does Thomas Horton. Now remember, he's in a less powerful Sig Max, somebody on the grass towards the back of the field. I think it might be Matt Willoughby, the number 82. There's a bit of a lock-up in the pack there. I thought we'd had some contact, but I think they've got away with that. Harry Senior, not the best of starts. He's down into P4 as they head around Redgate for the first time. It's Harry Kramer who's got the lead, led the points by a fairly clear margin coming into this weekend of 22 points. Will Stillwell in second place. Harry Senior forces his way back up the inside, takes P3 away from Sig Max class leader Thomas Horton, and so far everybody is round okay. Matt Willoughby's got going again after his grassy moments at the back.
Yeah,
speaking of grassy moments,
still well on the grass on the exit of Schwantz that time through. Wing hanging out there at the exit of the old hairpin as well. Will Stillwell looks like he's going to lose out to Senior as they come up this time. Horton did this yesterday, didn't he? He was early speed in his Sig Max, but as the race developed, he sort of slipped through the pack of cars that he was racing with. Just slightly less power in that Sig Max car than the 150s that he's racing against, but it generates speed in a different way a little bit earlier on. So off the line, he seems to be able to pick up and get up and running really quickly. He finds himself in that 4th place right now as it's Kramer Senior, then Stillwell, a little bit of a lock-up back, a bit further back into the chicane there. Everyone does make it through there. You see Gleisch going down the inside.
There's Martin Gleisch over the curb there on the inside as Kramer leads the opening lap. Then the Sig Max leader is once again Thomas Horton in a superb 4th overall, as Will Stillwell going for the inside into Redgate. He takes the lead from Harry Kramer. So Will Stillwell, he's certainly been upsetting the establishment at the front of the field in his occasional appearances this year. It's only his 3rd meeting in Caterham Racing. He's won at all 3 of them so far. He had a win yesterday, a hat-trick at Croft, a win at Snetterton as well, but he's lost out again to Harry Kramer there. Here comes Senior down the inside as well, side by side coming out of the old hairpin. Thomas Horton's got the grandstand view looking on from that 4th place, just ahead of, I think that's Angus McLean up there in 5th. He's going well.
Yeah, great start for McLean there. Arnell is well distant the 2nd place in that Sigmax, and he needs to get himself in a group that's broken away, but he's not putting himself in the ideal position for that as Kramer goes back down the inside of Stillwell, who'd made it back to the lead. Stillwell's going to hold on round the outside. That might give Senior a bit of a look up the inside, and we know the inside of the chicane's working well today. Stillwell has a bit of a run round the outside, but I don't think, in fact, Kramer's having to come across to try and block Senior off, so that might let Stillwell have the run into the chicane as Horton follows on behind.
Senior up the inside, can he go from 3rd to 1st in one move? Yes, he can. Superb from Harry Senior, under braking for the chicane. Stillwell in 2nd, Kramer goes down to 3rd. Who's this behind Thomas Horton now? It's like Jonathan Ems in the orange, number 83, has got ahead of McLean. Rob Warner in behind him, then it's Doug Christie. And Whitten and Anderson round out the top 10 behind James McCall as Will Stillwell retakes the lead, slipstreams his way through at Redgate just as he did a lap earlier. James McCall in the turquoise car running wide there over the curbs at Redgate. It's Will Stillwell who's got the lead ahead of Harry Senior, still holding off Kramer for 2nd place. Jonathan Ems running well, but he's about to lose out to Rob Warner at the old hairpin. The blue and orange car goes through up into 5th position. Ems goes down to 6th. Angus McLean is just behind them as they climb up towards McLean's. Once again, there's a bit of debris there. That's the wing that went flying earlier on. We don't know yet who it belongs to.
No, I haven't seen that, but it's sort of sat there offline on the inside, and hopefully it will just gently get manoeuvred to the edge of the track as this pack of lead cars. There's Arnell in the 2nd place in the Sigmax. He's got Livingston now right on his tail, so Livingston coming through nicely. Arnell's got nowhere to go. He had to sort of hit the rear of the panel of the car in front, and that meant Dan Livingston's got a free run around the outside. I don't know whether the car in front of Arnell missed a gear there, but we're going to go side by side once more for the lead. Horton's sort of fully involved in this lead pack as well, isn't he? So it's Harry Senior then to the lead, ahead of Stillwell in the black with the yellow roll cage. And then we've got Kramer in the red car, slipping to 3rd at this stage, and Horton hanging on in there in this Sigmax in the white car.
Well, fastest lap of the race has just been done by Rob Warner in 5th place. He's catching the lead group now, the blue and orange number 58 car. Here comes Harry Kramer up the insides, 3 wide into Redgate. He's going to try and go through for 2nd place, Kramer, and it's the 2 Harrys, 1 and 2 once again as Jonathan Ems runs wide in the number 83 car. He's in 6th position. 5 of them line astern for the lead, including the Sigmax. Now the Sigmax